Good morning, Rapper Freaks. Lexiot's here, and it is Tuesday, so we're doing Tuesday trivia. And once again, I'm throwing a curveball. I'm not going to be doing any classic Jurassic today. I'm not going to be doing any of the normal kind of trivia. We're doing a different kind of trivia today. In fact, it'll be very different than any trivia we've ever done before. Kind of like last week, where we did the Raptor Freak family trivia. Well, we're going to do a pop quiz on Media Day just to see how much everybody was paying attention yesterday and whether you can answer my questions about what was said yesterday at Media Day. So that is going to be our trivia for today. And I'm going to start it fairly soon. I'd like to see double digits on the watchers, and then maybe I'll start it. But I'm going to read you guys' comments up until now. And yeah, just in general, people are saying this is like a really weird media day. Like this may have been the least upbeat kind of media day that the Raptors have had in the whole time that Masai's been around. And I agree to an extent, but also at the same time, people shouldn't read into that kind of stuff too much. Oh man, there's so much that was said yesterday. And I rewatched every single one of the interviews a couple times yesterday. So really did pick up on a lot of different things from it. So we'll definitely be talking about all that today. Amit's here first. Amit the GOAT. Gary Trent Jr. That's right. I put Gary on the picture for today's stream because in some ways I felt like he had the best interview yesterday. I really, really enjoyed Gary's interview. Amit saying I was busy. Hopefully Fiercey was too. I watched Masai and Siakam, but not the rest. And you're watching them now. He's cram studying in the 15 minutes before the stream starts to try and get all the information from those. Yeah, it's going to be important that you have watched them. But you know what? In some ways, you could maybe do well still, Amit, just from, answering the questions with logic. Let's just put it that way. Nameless is here. Let's fucking go. Amit the Great. Yeah, Nameless. Nameless the Great. Good to see you. And what's up to Lex from me, to me from Amit. Thank you. And Tom's put Gary on our emotes for today. Look at that. That's how quick Tom is. He didn't know we had Gary as our picture. Well, Gary's all of a sudden in our stream chat. And there's Jakob, and there's Trevor J saying, good morning, Raptors family. It's Scottie Barnes across the board. Tommy, I want to thank you immensely for doing the chapters yesterday for the long-ass stream, 5-hour reaction to Media Day yesterday. And, man, did we get some traffic on the channel yesterday? Holy crap. Very, very good stuff. Thank you, Tom. Your chapter work has been very much on top of things. And in some ways, I'm like only having to make little spelling corrections. But otherwise, dude, you're doing a really good job with your chapters recently, Tom. I really appreciate you. And it was a key thing for the one yesterday, as far as with the different interviews being cut and stuff. Tommy, thank you so much for what you do. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Amit saying good morning to Tom. And Trevor J saying good morning, my brother, Tom Duke. Yes, good morning, Commissioner J. Good morning, Tommy. Good morning, Amit. Good morning, Dana. Good morning, everyone. I'm still laughing at Emo Jimmy. This is really fun what Jimmy Butler's been doing the last 2 years with his crazy hairstyles coming into Media Day. Of course, they're going to use that picture all year. In some ways, he's trolling the NBA. He's trolling them. He understands how they use those pictures at Media Day, and he wants his picture to be silly. So he did that. It's very, very interesting. It reminded me of I think there was a character on Coming to America or something like that had hair just like that. I don't know exactly. Or no, it's like it was an R&B singer that was in the 80s that had hair exactly like that. I think his name was Jermaine or something like that. I'm not sure. But man, he had that cool hair yesterday. And Jimmy, I respect you for that. I think it was awesome. You think he looked like Morris Day, Trevor? Oh. That's pretty good. I like that. Dana said, Trevor J, just call him by his new name. Emo Jimmy, all in his emotions. Yeah, that's what he said he was. He was feeling his emotions, and his appearance was a representation of where he was after missing out on all these big free agents to join him this summer. Hilarious stuff, Dana. Seymour saying 7:30 Mountain Time. Salute to all. Salute to you, Sheriff Seaboard Pape, joining us from the Mountain Zone in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We love you, Seymour. Great to see you today. Name to say Takiro Phillip. Thank me later. Okay, this is a song that we need to go watch or listen to. Takiro Phillip. Okay, we'll have to see that. Or he's saying, or Vacens Marabella. Philip, if you like the French variety. I don't even know what Nameless is talking about. But maybe these guys have the hairstyles of Jimmy Butler or something. I don't know. Fiercely saying happy Tuesday, fam. Happy Tuesday to you, Fiercely Salsa. Our current trivia leader. Is she going to get more points today? We'll have to see. Monique is here, the super fan, Monique Lawrence. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Good morning to you, Monique. So good to see you as always. And Gary Trent is being put on blast by Fiercey. Yeah, Tom Dude rocks. Yeah, I love how he changes them up from day to day. It's really, really good. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Free Crew. I have not listened to Media Day interviews as yet. We'll catch up today. I see Raptors Media had lots to say on the theme of selfishness. Need positive spin this morning. Too draining. Yeah, and honestly, Cool Cat, you're not going to like to hear what happened at Media Day yesterday. In some ways, Masai pointed a finger at your guy, Siakam, and said, listen, if you don't start playing as a team player with the team, and we're not going to be doing you isolated this year at all as much. Well, as much. I won't say at all. You are going to get traded. That's basically what Masai said yesterday, is that in some ways he made the tell that they got to conform to Darko's system. And if these guys don't conform, basically Masai said everybody who doesn't do what Darko's system asked them to do, he's going to trade them this year, is what he said basically. So it is a little hairy for Siakam, and you could tell he was defensive. That's part of the problem too, is Siakam came out and he said, I don't think I'm a selfish player. And as soon as he said that, he said, well, we're not calling you a selfish player. He kind of intimated that he's the one who's being accused of it. So it's a really weird thing. I'll kind of sort it out with you. I think that Siakam is ready to take the challenge. He's going to be fine. It's just a lot of people are overreacting in the weird way that they think he's in trouble, and that there's all this weird stuff that people are saying. Of course, our media day wasn't exactly right. Particularly Masai and Pascal had kind of black clouds around them. The rest of them were fine. In fact, I was very impressed with all the rest of the interviews and the energy coming from the players. But Siakam and Ujiri were very weird yesterday. Let's just put it that way. They weren't their normal selves. In some ways, we saw a little bit of that depressed Siakam in the middle of the season last year, yesterday. And I don't know. Listen, we'll talk about it way more after we're done with it. In fact, it's part of the trivia too. We'll do that. Amit's saying, I feel like Jimmy likes to change how he looks just to piss off the NBA. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Last year, they had to use a computerized version of him sometimes because they just got sick of using that crazy hair. Yeah, it's hilarious. Cool Cat saying, love Jimmy Butler's facade each year. Makes Media Day light and fun. Yeah, Media Day was interesting. A lot of different places. Kawhi openly saying, if you're trying to get me to play more games by making this rule, that's not going to help me play more games. If this is because of what I did in Toronto with load management, why are you doing this? That's basically what he said. Kawhi is awesome. And I'm glad he called them out specifically for the resting rule. The singer, Jermaine Stewart. Yeah, that's who I think it is. Jermaine Stewart. That's who Jimmy Butler looks like, is Jermaine Stewart. That's the guy. I remember him now. We don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. That's right. That song. That's right. Fiercey called it. Fiercey, you're going to get a dunk for recognizing Jermaine Stewart and giving me that. That's awesome. I knew that's who he looked like. He looked almost exactly like him. It's crazy. Infamous is saying, good morning, freaks. The singer you're referring to is Jermaine Stewart. He had the hit, We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off. Yeah, he looks like a doppelganger of him. It's amazing. Cool Cat saying, thanks for the French. Hang on. Thanks for the French translation from Media Day, fellow Raptor freaks. Yeah, I appreciate that yesterday, you guys, Fiercey and HC and a couple people translating it for us yesterday. That was very helpful and very interesting. One of the questions that was asked in French, Fiercey or Cool Cat, was this. The French reporter asked Pascal if he said that if he got traded to another team, he wouldn't want to sign an extension. He'd come right back to Toronto. He denied that that was true. He said that that was a rumor and that was not something he said this summer. So that loyalty quote about Siakam, like not wanting to go somewhere and do that, it was not true. And then also he had some interesting language in his part of his interview where he said he's currently a Raptor right now, is what he said. This is such a weird situation with Siakam. In some ways, I hate it. I really, really do hate it. And I understand why people are trying to say, oh, things are so shaky and messed up with the Raptors. Well, in some ways, they're right. And in some ways, I'm going to spin it all good for us. Don't worry. But it's a little awkward right now. It's very awkward. Let's see. Ahmed's saying at Fiercey, good morning. I'm coming for first place, 600 points behind you. All right, Ahmed, talking your trash. Seymour's laughing. And Monique saying, Dennis flying straight to Vancouver. Wow. And I continue to love Ellen. Yeah, I'm going to react to Ellen Schroeder's latest video drop after the trivia. And yeah, Dennis flew straight to Vancouver. I don't know. We'll talk about that too afterwards. Fiercely saying, I did not perceive it as finger pointing to Pascal. Maybe Masai threw a subtle message to the team as a whole. Okay, Amit, bring it. That's right. Fiercely's ready for you. Well, this is the thing. It wasn't finger pointing at Siakam until he acted defensive. That's the thing. That's the thing. He messed up. He shouldn't have came out and said, I don't think I'm selfish. You know, nobody called you selfish directly, bro. The fact that you brought it up and you feel like you have to defend yourself is part of the weirdness of this situation. I like what Siakam said yesterday in some ways, because he does sound like he's ready for the challenge of trying to conform to Darko's system. But that is key on him staying a Raptor. That's what Masai said. He spelled it out exactly like that. If these dudes do not do the coach's system and they follow him and they don't stay together, they're going to get traded. Is basically what Masai said. He ain't fucking around this season. He is not. He is not. And that's not just for Siakam. It's basically, he said, like, they asked him, never mind. I'm going to give away my questions if I do this too quick. So, you know, I'm going to stop here at Infamous, and we're going to do the trivia right now. Infamous, your comment is the where I'm at. All right. So I'm going to go to that one when I first come back. All right. First question today, Toronto Media Day pop quiz. That's right. I'm asking y'all questions about the questions yesterday. And if you watched, you're in good shape. If you didn't, you're in trouble. What did Masai say is the direction of the team? Y'all, what did Masai say is the direction of the team? I know these are going to be long answers. You got to type them out. There's no copy and paste. That's not right, Amit. It was not winning. Winning is not what he said is direction of the team. We want to win, of course, but that is not what is it. What is the direction? What is the direction of the team for what they want? Tank for a century? No, Summer. Come on. Let's be positive. No more selfish play? No. What is, like, everybody keeps asking. The Raptors have no direction. What he answered that question yesterday. What is the direction of this team? Like, what is their plan? Why are they doing what they're doing? What is their plan? It's not about the selfishness. It's about answering that specific question. How everybody says, oh, the Raptors don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. What did he say is what we're doing? And if y'all can't answer this is crazy. Let's see. Problem is these are not articulate. Teamwork is a certain word I'm looking for. All right. Cool Cat has got it. Cool Cat said it exactly right. Exactly right. Cool Cat said it. It's development until the time is ready for a big moment. That is what Masai said. He's going to develop his young guys and continue to get them better and wait for moments like Lillard or Durant or Kawhi. And when the right one comes and it lines up, he will land the next big superstar that everybody's calling out for. So that is what his plan is, to stay as flexible as possible, developing our young players and getting them better. And then if opportunities arise, he wants to be in a position where he can try and make things happen. So Cool Cat gets those points. She's the one who got it there. Yeah. Infamous, you're just behind Cool Cat. And that is the answer I was looking for, guys. Development may have gotten you the answer first, but I like that she rounded it out and gave me both parts. So, yeah, definitely Cool Cat getting that one. Number two, what did Masai say when Doug Smith asked him about the MSG lawsuit? Now, this was not on our stream yesterday. This is the very first question asked yesterday. So anybody who went back and watched it, you may be able to answer this. What did Masai say when Doug Smith asked him about the MSG lawsuit? Yeah, what did he say, y'all? Yep, Cool Cat just got another one. See, she was paying attention. This is the first time in NBA history that a team has sued another team. And he said, go figure. That's all he said. He said that, you know, in some ways, the way the Raptors defended themselves about the MSG lawsuit yesterday was hilarious. Darko said, you know, I look myself in the mirror. I know who I am. I know who my parents raised. I don't do shit like this. Masai was like, you know, he didn't even say anything about it. He just basically said, go figure. These guys are the first team to ever sue another team. And that's ridiculous in itself. So he's not even having to defend himself. See, that's a difference. He's just saying, these guys, this is the first time this ever happened. Is this something that normally happens where a team sues another team for stealing information? No. If this was something that happens, it would have happened already by now. But this is the first time it's ever happened. And then, oh man, it was crazy. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. And we're not concerned is basically what he was saying right there. Yeah. Yeah. What are they suing? Who's suing who? The Knicks are suing the Raptors currently. MSG has a lawsuit against the Raptors and Darko Rajakovic for hiring a guy this summer who took the Knicks plans or plays or something, and they're saying that we stole their plays this summer. It's the most ridiculous, frivolous lawsuit. People in New York think it's frivolous. Most people think it's frivolous. It's just some made up bullshit by James Dolan, and he's trying to hurt us with some bullshit. So, yeah, they had to answer that question. It was so dumb. All right, next question. How much did Scottie say he weighs now? How much does Scottie say he weighs now? Yeah, how much does he weigh, y'all? How much does he weigh? 250 is too high, Amit. It's too high. Summer Low's getting that one. 240. That man is at 240 at this point. That's right. Summer Low getting on the board. I love to see Summer Low back. I hope you're doing very well, Summer. It's been a bit, and always happy to see Raptor Freak Summer Low back in the channel. Let's see. What did Gary say about Darko? What did Gary Trent Jr. say about Darko Rajakovic? What did he say about that? I love all the 240s there. Yeah, Summer got in there first. New conversations. No, I want something specifically. Okay, Amit's gonna get this one. I like that. He said he has talked to Darko the most ever as an NBA coach, and out of all the coaches he's had, coaches in Portland, Nick Nurse here, he is the most talked to by Darko, and he feels like he appreciated. Obviously, it's very, very cool. Yeah, so Amit, you're getting that one. He talked to him the most. You didn't watch that interview? Well, you figured it out now. There you go. Question number 5. What did Masai Ujiri say were the 2 reasons Fred wasn't traded at the trade deadline? What were the 2 reasons Masai said that Fred did not get traded at the trade deadline last season? What were the 2 reasons he said why? Yeah, there you go. Here you go. What did Masai say about Fred and the reason why that? That's not exactly right, Cool Cat. I'll give you one of them. I'll give you the respect part. That's right, but the second part isn't right. The second part isn't exactly right. It's kind of what it is, but it's not exactly right. They value the players. That's kind of what it is. Respect is really what he said. The respect for the player and his time on the team, and that is part of the reason why they didn't trade him. Then is the same reason why they didn't trade Lowry that same year, that 1 year. Yeah. Let's see. He assumed he kind of messed up. No, he did. Well, listen, he admitted if you want to give blame, okay, blame me for that. But I don't think he messed up. And I don't think he said that he messed up. I think that he said that it was kind of like it just didn't. Hang on. I don't want to ruin answering the question is basically what I want to do. I want to see the second part on there first. It's not about him taking blame. There were 2 reasons why he couldn't move Fred at the trade deadline. One of them was respect for Fred. And then the other one was it's not the value. It's not value. Value is not the right word. There, Tom's got it. If the deal's not there, you move on. There was no deal for him, basically. That's the problem. There was a lack of opportunity with the deal. Everybody thinks that Fred was so easy to move at the trade deadline, but Masai's saying you need 2 teams to tango, and there was nobody on the other side that he could deal with in the right way to move Fred at trade deadline. So he's respect for Fred, and then also there wasn't no deal. There wasn't anything. There was no opportunity. There was a lack of opportunity to trade him anyway. So Tom's getting that point there. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So it was respect for Fred as a player for what he did for franchise. And then also there really was a lack of deals or opportunities out there. Yeah. Yeah. I think that nobody wanted him for, I don't know. We don't know specifics about it fiercely. So there may have been a deal, but maybe there wasn't. I have no idea. But Masai said there wasn't a deal there to do anyway. So, all right, next question. What did Masai say about players like Lillard not wanting to play in Canada? What was Masai's response about players like Lillard that don't want to play here in Canada? Yeah. People thought having Fred's birds rights was really important to teams, but it wasn't. Teams could sign him straight out. Well, we'd have to match him, and they had way more salary to spend because they had to. It was a very specific one-time thing. In some ways, people are freaking out about next summer, but we can still pay our free agents this year more than anybody else. So in some ways, the Fred situation this year is totally different than the Siakam or OG or Gary situations. In fact, I fully expect one of these guys to get an extension in the next couple days. They're gonna nail down either Gary or OG, or maybe they'll just wait and see, like I said, and see who earns it. So yeah, we focus on international. Yeah, Fiercey's got it. We're going to focus on international players and Canadian players, and we don't need to worry about these American guys coming up here to bail us out. People like Kawhi and Scottie, they'll come and play for the Raptors and they'll be successful. But some of these American guys are like, I don't want to play in Canada, which Lillard very much was that. All you people that were like, oh, why didn't we get Lillard? Well, it's true. He did not want to play in Toronto. As much as I was trying to fight against that perception, it was true in the end. He did not want to play in Toronto because he didn't want to play in Canada. So he's one of those dudes that Masai was talking about. He openly said that. He didn't say directly that Lillard was a guy who refused to come here, but he really did make it very clear in the way he answered the questions yesterday by answering it the way that we just talked about, that we don't need these guys. We have an international sport with international players from around the world. I've got people I know in Africa. There's a great crop coming up here in Canada. There's people in Europe we're mining and getting. So it's like, yeah, we don't need Americans to be a good team. We need to embrace being the international team and be even more international, because in some ways the loyalty will come from those places more than from people like Dame Lillard and Fred VanVleet. So yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Lillard didn't say that he didn't want to come here. I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but he made it very clear he did not want to come here on the down low. And that's what they were saying through the press. Cabby, Cabby. We've had Cabby around our team in Toronto sports for so long. Cabby was very sure that he would not come here. In fact, he was joking about it on his social media that Lillard would never come to Toronto, and people were like getting at him for it. But he was right. Cabby probably knows Lillard personally, and he probably knows this guy would never come here. So yeah, we didn't want him anyway. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. PK saying we're not doing just general stuff. We're playing a trivia game right now. I'll come back through the comments and do this other stuff. We don't want to get sidetracked right now. All right, question number 7. What did Masai cite? Who did Masai cite when the Raptors when the press brought up the Raptors shooting woes? What 2 players did Masai cite when the reporter said the Raptors have had really bad shooting the last couple of years? What makes you think is going to be better this year? What were the 2 players? Grady Dick is one of them, Amit. That's right. And Otto Porter is the other one. Good job, Tom and Amit. Those are the 2 answers I was looking for. Yeah, he said, I just drafted one of the best shooters in college basketball this year, and we expect to have Otto Porter Jr. return this season. So there you go. Good stuff. Tom and Amit getting those ones. Yeah, we got Grady. All right, next question. Did OG say he was unhappy with his role and he wants to leave Toronto? Did OG say he's unhappy with his role and he wants to leave with Toronto? That's an easy one. No, that's right, Cool Cat. No, he did not. In fact, he said very much the opposite of all of that. He said he's fine with his role, and he also really likes playing in Toronto. He wants to stay. So that was an easy one. Yeah. Cool Cat is doing very well today, and for not having watched the videos yesterday, she's doing very well. Next one. What word did Scottie say a few times that tells us his future? What word did Scottie say that a few times that tells us his future? Yeah, what did he say? What was the word I really had a big reaction to yesterday? Dominant. That's right. Bradley's got it. He wants to dominate. Canadian Cowboy sneaking in here and stealing the Scottie question. That's what he said. He said the word, I want to dominate. He said that twice real quick at one point. And I see it, Scott. I see it. I really do. Dominant. That's right. That's the word he said. He wants to be dominant. Yeah. Number 10. Whose flight didn't allow him to be at media day? Whose flight didn't allow him to be at media day? But he did kind of show up late. Yeah. Cool Cat's really quick today. D.Schröder is the right answer. Cool Cat is just getting in there quick. She's quick on the type, y'all. You got to be real fast. Some of these are going to be very easy. And yeah, it is Dennis Schröder. That is right. Number 11. What did the players say when they were asked about their extension? All 3 of them said the same damn thing. Pascal, OG, and Gary. What did they say when the reporters asked them about their extension? What was it they said? Amit saying, wait, no, stay, no comment, no. So elaborate for me. Don't just say that. That's not good enough. Write the whole thing out, y'all. All right, they have their team do it. They team handle it. That's not exactly right. They have people to do that stuff. I think I'm going to give it to agents. Kind of like it's too short. I'm going to say that Dana's right. They have people to do that stuff. That they let their agents deal with it. I'm going to give Dana that one. That they just play, and we have people that deal with this. So I'm going to give that one to Dana. Y'all are kind of all right there, kind of all right, but they team handle it. That's not really right, Fiercey. Agent isn't really enough, Cowboy. I'm going to give it to Dana. Yeah, it's close. It's close. All right, number 12. What does Masai believe the Raptors will do again soon? What does Masai believe the Raptors will do again soon? He really does believe this. Yeah. What does Masai? Be more specific, guys. Yeah, win a chip. I like that. Fiercey's got it. Win a chip. That's what I've written on here. That's what I'm taking. Win a chip. Fiercey's got that. Yeah, he still believes this. This is what I'm saying, man. This guy wants to prove that we're bona fide, and the Raptors can't just be a one-hit wonder. We got to win a second championship. It's very, very important. And, we may be closer to doing that than a lot of casual negative fans think. They think we're like in a bad place, but honestly, in a lot of ways, we're not. And they just haven't opened their eyes up to the real situation. So, yeah, there you go. I'm going to give that one to Fiercey. I know this ambivalent, ambiguous, like who could be getting it, but it's really who's first on my chat screen as far as who gets it. Shaq Lindsay said just win. I wanted win the chip. Exactly. Yeah. Amit, you wrote it like out and it was almost there, but she beat you just before you got that P in. All right. The next question is, what did Masai want to remind the press about the players? What did Masai want to remind the press about the players that play for the Raptors? Yeah, what does Masai? Yeah, you have to be really fast to do this. Work hard? No. That they are humans. That's right. Fiercey's got it. That they're human beings. That they're not just people you write in articles and make bullshit about, trade rumors and all that shit. That can hurt these guys. And that y'all are assholes. Honestly, you know what I got from Media Day yesterday? That the press and the media are fucking assholes. That they're idiots and they're assholes. Like even Samson Folk pissed me off yesterday. Normally Samson's pretty good, but he was asking some biting questions and people wanted him to do that. I get it. But in some ways it was much better when you were just asking about basketball and not asking about extensions, Samson. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I really hate our media at this point. Even Oren pisses me off right now. Oren had such a negative day yesterday. What a fucking miserable fuck Oren Weisfeld was yesterday. Asking his questions, getting all upset, tweeting weird shit yesterday, and then he's upset with the TTC because he has to wait for the bus. Oh my God, your life is so horrible, Oren Weisfeld. Get over yourself. Start practicing gratitude, buddy. All right, there you go. Number 14 is, what did Masai say about OG and Gary's extensions? What did he say about OG and Gary's extensions as far as the front office? What did he say about that? Yeah. What did Masai say about OG and Gary's extensions? They're going to work on them right now. That's right. Cool Cat's got it. It is working on them right now. That's what he said. And that's why I'm saying he wouldn't say that, because think about this. He's opening a can of worms about the extension talk, saying, well, we're talking about it right now. He went to look at somebody in the back when he said that, and he wanted to get the okay, and he's like, we're working on them right now. It may have been Bobby that he looked at in the back of the room. And I believe that they will sign maybe one of these two guys to an extension very soon. I think it'll be OG. I think that we may sign OG to an extension very soon, and this will be good because it'll at least quiet down at least one of these weird extension talks for the season. You know, this stupid press is going to be merciless with this stuff. In some ways, I'm thinking about becoming a channel that doesn't really focus on front office stuff so much. We're just going to worry about the team, the coach, and the players and what they're doing on the court, because the front office critiques and overanalyzing is getting so stupid at this point. It's getting so dumb that I don't even want to add to that noise. So, yeah, they're going to work on them right now. And we're going to see, hopefully they get one of them signed very soon. We've seen a couple extensions signed with a few NBA players on other teams already. Devin Vassell getting his extension done yesterday. So yeah, there you go. Number 15, how does Masai fight trade speculation for the players? How does Masai fight against all the trade speculation to help the players? What does he do? What is his uh, fight, his technique to fight against it? Let's see. You want to just focus on court stuff and IG? Yeah, he doesn't pay attention to social media. That is true. But I want to tell me what he does to help the players deal with the social media stuff. How does he do stuff with that? To help them. They ignore it. Yeah, they ignore it, but they don't totally. They do pick up on some of what's going on, but Masai doesn't pay attention to it. But what does Masai do to help them? All right, there you go. Cowboys got it. I like what Cowboys saying. He talks to them. He talks to them and he stays open and honest with them so that they know what he's saying. And he has trust with them. Now they know that if they hear stuff in the press, like OG hears stuff, there's a track record of trade rumors being full of shit. And he can call up Masai and say, Masai, am I really going to get traded or something happening right now? Masai will tell him, no, you're not. This is all bullshit. He's like, okay, thank you. And OG goes on with his day. That's basically the thing that happens is these players maybe freak out a little bit. They call the front office and they actually are open and honest with them about what's going on. And I love that about them. He reassures them. Yeah, that's the right thing right there. But yeah, I'm going to give it to Bradley. He's saying that he talks to them. Yeah, he talks to them. He keeps an open line of honest communication. All right, let's see. Did Darko say that he is going to start Scottie at the point guard? Did Darko say that he's going to start Scottie at point guard? I want to see who writes this first. Amit saying no. That's right, Amit. You're right. He said he's probably going to give him the ball more than actually put the ball through him as the passer. He wants him to be the scorer. Yeah, that's right. No, he is not going to be the point guard. They're going to be switching it around between everybody other than Jakob, and it's going to be perfectly fine. All right, 2 more questions, y'all, and we'll be done with trivia, and then we'll do just regular talking. What does Yak think we need to fix the most with our team? What does Jakob think is the biggest problem with our team, and what we need to fix the most? Yeah, what did he say yesterday as far as that? Leadership is kind of right, but a specific leadership, Amit. A specific thing. Cut more? No. His free throw percentage? No, it wasn't about him. It's about the whole team. Stop winning? No, they're not stop winning. Let me just say, when did he say the team is in the worst shape and they need to work on doing something? When did they need to do that? I don't think a one-word answer is going to work here, guys. Y'all going to need to put something, a couple words string together. Yeah, David's going to get it. That's what it is. Finish what you're saying, David. You got the first part. Yeah. When the other team is on a run, the team needs to do better staying together and figuring out their identity in the times when they're down. It's basically what I'm going to give David. David got the most of it right there. When the other team is up on us, we just need to do better to stay with our identity and do better in those situations. Yeah, David, I will give you that one just out of honor too. Yeah, you didn't hear the question? Well, the question was, what does Yak think we need to fix the most on the team? When the other team is on a run, we need to stay together and have an identity so we can get out of that rut, is what he said. All right, last question, guys. What was OG's highlight of the summer? What was OG's highlight of the summer, y'all? Nothing is wrong. That's absolutely wrong. No one highlight. Buying a team every day. I want one word. Infamous said it. Everything. Everything was the highlight. Infamous got it. That's good stuff. We got some different people scoring. All right. So there's your pop quiz on media day for yesterday. Hopefully we kind of like went over some stuff again a little bit more there and illuminated things a little bit more. All right, I'm going to scroll all the way back up to Infamous's first comment, and we're going to start talking to you guys about this thing. Infamous is saying, Masai said the team played selfish. The reporter gaslighted the issue by saying he spoke to you first. I thought it was a disgusting way of trying to link him, Masai's comments. No, there's all kinds of dirty pool going on with these reporters right now, and I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Samson Falk posting pictures of the media day people, and they all look like trolls and idiots. Honestly, seriously. Y'all need to fucking be better. Y'all's questions sucked. Y'all were fumbling over each other, and like some of this stuff was just like, it's awkward. And just like, whatever, man. Media, I'm really like, Toronto's media is really depressingly bad. It really, really is. We need Jake to grow up quicker. Seriously. Oh my gosh. Fiercely saying, where do you see the points? I have no idea. I will post the points after the stream and in the comments. That's always where this is on Trivia Day, Fiercely. I'll add up the numbers for today. And in the comments on this stream underneath, you can see the totals for the season. So just wait until I'm done streaming, and then wait about 15 minutes. I'll have added them up, and then I'll post them then. Seymour saying, he looks like Adam Sandler's Little Nicky. You're talking about Jimmy Butler? You thought he looked like Little Nicky? That's pretty funny. In some ways, that's pretty funny, Seymour. Wayne saying, please don't read what's not there with Masai. We ourselves said the isolation ball was not working. That's on Nick, not Pascal. All right, let me elaborate about this, seriously, because Wayne's right. He's exactly right. And this is true. The problem, all right, Pascal's not in trouble, y'all. Siakam has a way through this, and he's going to be perfectly fine. It's just that, listen, Siakam is a soldier. Let's just put it this way. Siakam is a soldier on the field, and there's a general that directs him. He doesn't decide, I'm going to just be used as an isolation player like he was last year. That's Nick Nurse's choice. That is Nick Nurse's choice to be lazy and say, I just want Siakam to run ISO over and over again, and that's how I'm going to run my offense mostly. So it is totally true what Wayne's saying. It was Nick's fault for Pascal over-isolating. And what is going to happen is Siakam is a soldier. As I said, there's a new general. And the new general is going to give him the new plans, and he has to follow those new plans. Now, what Siakam said in his interview was, I am a team player. I'm not selfish, and I'm ready to do what it takes in the new regime with the new coach to conform to his system to play better. Now, part of the problem is that, Darko said in his interview, we're going to pass it first. I hate isolation. We're going to make sure that everybody touches the ball. There's going to be a lot of cutting. There's going to be a lot of this and this. And in some ways, the reporters in their heads, like Sampson and them, were like, well, what is this going to fit with Siakam? So they started pulling that string and talking about it. And well, Siakam's saying this. It's like, basically, look, I've been a different player at different times in my career. He's been a system player in the past. So there's no problem with him conforming and possibly reverting to being a system player this year coming up. So what's happening is Siakam's going to have to redo himself to a degree with how he works within the offense. But I have full confidence he's going to be successful and he's going to be fine. I feel like I believe him when he says he's not a selfish player. He played selfishly last year under the direction of Nick Nurse, who wanted to over-isolate him. And that's going to be the difference, is that Siakam basically, Masai saying, you want to get your extension, your max extension, you have to prove to me that you can play in Darko's system. And Siakam saying, I have no problem with that. I'm taking the challenge. I'm not upset about it. And I'm going to come in and do what it takes to help this team win. So that's basically it right there. If anybody wants to embellish it or make it worse than it sounds, it's basically that. Siakam's a good soldier. He listens to his general, who tells him what he's supposed to do on the court. So he's got a new general this year. And this new general is not going to want him to do what the last general did. So he's going to have to change his game to fit. And now that's why Sampson asked that question yesterday. It's like, normally teams do not make their superstar and most important player conform to the coach's system. The team usually builds around that player. And that's normally true, Sampson Folk. But Siakam's a special case. And in some ways, we can't afford to allow him to play Nick Nurse's isolation style anymore, because that's losing basketball. And we know this. And Siakam knows it too, deep in his heart. So, there's all kinds of reasons why Darko doesn't want to do this year. And they're all good reasons. And that, in some ways, Masai and them have been listening to us. They realized that isolation ball, the selfish play of last year, just was not going to fly this year. And they are going to be very, very intolerant of it. If there's any kind of selfishness going on, they're going to be on top of it. Whether it's Darko, because he's system and he demands it as the coach and his style, whether it's Masai actually watching over the team a little bit closer this season than last year, making sure that togetherness is going to happen. Because if it don't, Masai said, he didn't even say, he's like, somebody said, well, what if how do you guarantee that's going to happen? Motherfucker, you don't know who Masai Ujiri is? How is he going to guarantee that they're going to be together and they're going to play together? Well, that's just the rules. If you don't, you're going to be seeing the door, is basically what he said. And this is the thing. None of our guys on our team are that selfish. They really aren't. That's why it was such a mystery to me last year. They're saying the team's being selfish this year. I'm like, who's being selfish? I don't see it. Well, they're playing selfish on the court. I get that. And that's what it is. Some people try and say, oh, it was selfishness about contracts, selfishness about this. And sure, maybe there was a bit of that. But the selfishness we're talking about is not passing the ball, is not getting other teammates involved, is waving off people when they have an open shot and just taking it yourself. It's shit like that. That's the selfishness we're talking about fixing, is the stuff on the court. There you go. That is a great comment, Wayne, by the way. And I'm glad you asked me to elaborate on this, because Siakam's not a villain here. Siakam's a good soldier, and he's just got a new general now. It's going to give him some new orders. Cool Cat saying, I think Masai and Pascal has the kind of relationship that Masai can go at Pascal and send a message to the team at large. He's also the most longest Raptor on the team now, so it's expected he'll be fine. Yeah, I agree with Cool Cat. Siakam does not have an ego in this. In some ways, he really, really doesn't. We debated with Jason in the chat yesterday. Some of y'all were very unfair to Jason and absolutely really embarrassed me, honestly. Jason, we appreciate what you said yesterday, and you're right. A lot of what Jason said is exactly what we're talking about right now. That Siakam is going to have to conform to Darko's system, and he may lose some points on his scoring average, but hopefully his other stats will go up, whether it's rebounds, whether it's assists, whether it's steals even. So, if he's not having to carry the team so much offensively, he will have more energy to spend in other areas of the game. And this could be very fruitful for him to grow into a more well-rounded, all-around great player. And I think the opportunity is really great for him, actually. In some ways, the more equalness of going around, everybody getting more pieces of pie than just him and Fred getting such huge pieces of pie last year is going to be so much better for our team in a lot of different ways. And Siakam is not unwilling to do this. He's very willing to do what he has to do. But some of his language was troubling. He understands that in some ways, a lot is on the line. And in some ways, he is the most awkward position because they're trying to figure out whether he's a part of our future with our coach now. And in some ways, that's how they're going to try and figure it out. Scottie's fine. In fact, it occurred to me yesterday that Darko was hired with Scottie in mind, that he's the kind of coach that will get the most out of a player like Scottie. And that's why we hired him. This Darko coach is for Scott. And that's why we got to see if he can still be for Pascal for at least for now. So we'll have to see. Randolph saying, beloved Raptor freaks, most informative gang. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Thank you, Randolph, for grounding us with gratitude and blessings. And remember, y'all, just stay very much on the side of like being happy for what you got instead of being whiny about what you don't got. That's where a lot of people are having problems these days, being whiny and complaining, and they have so much good things in their life that they overlook. So thank you, Randolph, for your blessings as per normal. Cool Cat saying Pascal has matured in the Raptors. He can take the good and the bad. He will still work hard regardless. He is principled. Yeah. I think he's going to be fine, honestly. In fact, I hope he's so successful in Darko's system that it's undeniable we have to keep him. That the team decides this, and the fans overwhelmingly like, holy crap, Darko's made Siakam a totally different player this year. And that's the thing. He was that player before when Kawhi was around. He was more that system player, more that secondary scorer, more that guy who was rebounding and doing all kinds of stuff and not so focused on just scoring. And he can go back to that. He really, really can. His all-around stats are very good already. He does that stuff. So, we just turn up the assist knob a little bit, the rebounds knob a little bit, and we slightly turn down the points knob just a little bit. Yeah. Jimmy Pope's here. Good to see the Pope of positivity. I love the Darko interview, and people are manufacturing drama as per usual. All they need to do is buy in, or you can kick it. Yeah. Once again, there's a lot of people around that Raptors Nation that are half-hearted Raptor fans, or they're not even Raptor fans. They're just acting like they are, and they just want to cause confusion, or they're trolls, or they're just very immature and stupid. There's a lot of different flavors of why people are toxic in Raptors Nation. And, there's some weird stuff. Also, part of it is perception. If you have a negative mindset, if you don't take care of your body, if you don't nurture your body with vitamins, minerals, and keep replenishing the things that you need to be healthy, instead you're out drinking every night, or you're doing drugs, or you're just messed up and you're always haggard, you're going to have a bad mindset. You're going to think horrible things. Your body chemistry is literally mad at you, and it's going to put you in a negative mind frame. Some of these people are working from that perception, from being in a very uncomfortable place because they're not taking care of themselves. So we got to realize there's a lot of different reasons why people have bad perceptions. It may be partly because they're not taking care of themselves and they're all haggard and messed up. And maybe they need a nap. It may mean that they need a shower. It may be that they need to go take a sleep or something like that, or just eat something. So, perception will, you could watch those interviews and you can see it from a positive light, a lot of things you're saying, but you could watch that Darko interview and be like, what the fuck? He's a liar. And that whole part about the MSG lawsuit or something like that, some people may see that and they'd be like, they are losing. Oh my gosh, they still kept that guy on the staff that caused this problem, Azotam. Yeah, I remember his name, Michael Grange. You don't. Yeah, they kept Azotam on here. They must be guilty. That's their perception. My perception is they kept Azotam on staff because he's innocent, and they're all innocent, and they don't want to make people think they're guilty by firing him right away. I mean, that's what the lawyer probably said. Y'all can't fire him until this is decided. If you do want to fire him, wait until the lawsuit is settled, because if you fire him before that, it'll incriminate him for wrongdoing. It's that simple. I'm not even a lawyer, and I can understand that kind of logic. So him answering, yes, he is still employed by the Raptors, is very much covering up the lawsuit stuff. They probably prepared him on that question and how he should handle it and how he should say it. And he did a really good job. Darko was really, really good. Fun guy saying, I don't think it was weird, bro. The reporter asked him a question about selfishness, so he set the record straight. He's not selfish, and I don't think he is, and I do the same. Yeah, I don't think it was weird either, but I'm telling you, sometimes you give yourself away by defending yourself. If Siakam was not worried about this, he would just say, yeah, last year we did play a little bit selfish, and we want to change that this year. The fact that he got defensive means he's sensitive to this right now, and he feels like that their fingers being pointed at him for that word. That's really what I'm pointing out, fun guy. The reporter did ask about selfishness, but they didn't specifically say, were you selfish last year? He put himself in the target zone. He didn't have to do that. He could have just made a comment. It's like, yeah, we were going to work on this. We were too selfish last year. We could do better. But no, instead he's saying, I've never been a selfish player in my life. Well, whoa. That's protest too much. In some ways, that gives you incrimination. And I mean, he was honest. In some ways, he did play selfish last year. But that was because the coach asked him to do it. It's not because he's a selfish player. It's because the coach system was selfish. And that's the difference right there. Yeah. Amit's saying winning. Wayne Stranger saying problem is these are not articulate. My questions. I know this was a weird trivia. It kind of worked, but it didn't. I'll definitely, if I do one like this ever again, I will do more specific answers instead of ambiguous kind of like ideas. I figured in some ways this is the way to do it right here. Yeah, that was the way to do it. Matty D going on to year 16. That's right. Our crew getting on the planes yesterday and going straight to Vancouver. All these guys came to Toronto to get on the plane to go out to Tom Duke land, and they've landed and they're there now. Matt Devlin starting his 16th season announcing for the Toronto Raptors. Congratulations to you, Matty D. We're proud of you, and we're glad you're our guy. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to skip over all the answers and just kind of read when we have comments coming in here. Summer, you were asking, what are they suing and who is suing who? This summer, a frivolous lawsuit popped up from the MSG Corporation owned by James Dolan. The Knicks are accusing us of hiring a new scout named Azotam, who, when he left the Knicks organization, who he worked for, he brought all of his hard drive and the files for the Knicks stuff. He basically had the playbook for their team last year. Nothing for this year or anything like that. Well, the Knicks are suing us for corporate espionage of stealing their property. Now, a lot of insiders in the NBA think this is the most hilarious, stupidest thing in the world. And this is why I don't think we're going to be in trouble. Apparently, this is common practice around the league, people sharing stuff like this, and this is something that's so frivolous and stupid. In some ways, James Dolan made this lawsuit to cause us a dumpster fire just before the season. In fact, he specifically naming Darko Rajakovic and trying to sully his name before he even gets to start his head coaching career in the NBA. It's the most disgusting, messed up thing. And James Dolan, fuck you. And, most people, even lawyers in New York, are saying it's a frivolous lawsuit. And we shouldn't be worried about this. In some ways, they need to just go through this process and it'll come out, will be vindicated. And James Dolan's going to get in trouble with Adam Silver because he's not happy about one NBA team suing another NBA team. In some ways, he may be more mad at the Knicks than he is at us in any kind of way. Now, there may be repercussions. If there is a wrongdoing that is found, the Raptors could lose a second round pick or be fined. So we'll have to see how this shakes out. I'm not worried about this, and I don't think our people are worried about it either. The way they were saying what they were saying yesterday, Masai's like, yeah, that's that. Go figure. That's the only time anybody sued another team in the league. Go figure. That's because this kind of shit is stupid. You don't think somebody would have stolen somebody's plans at some point in the whole damn history of the NBA and a lawsuit would have happened like this? Frivolous lawsuit, made up shit. This shit happens all the time. There's no criminality. And the Knicks are full of shit. In fact, this guy Azotam may have been a little like not so bright, and they set us up. They set us up with a weird situation to get us into this situation. I truly believe that the Knicks try to set us up, and they're just trying to start bullshit for us. Is basically what it is. So there you go, Summer. I hope I illuminated all your questions there. There you go. Yeah. Let's keep going. I see that. Listen, Trevor J saying you love listening to him talk about basketball. Very good coach. That's right. Gary loved talking to Darko. Darko cares, and that's what he likes. Yeah. All right. I want to keep going and make sure that I love all the answers. I'm gonna make sure I get out through here. All right. PK is saying this. I want to see this. OG not signing extension. He will enter free agency because he only can get the max around 25 million for the extension, but his market value is over 30 to 35 million. So PK is saying that he doesn't think the OG will sign an extension because his agent's going to tell him he's worth more and he'll hold off. Now, this is what Fred lied about last year. So listen, if there's something like this happening where it seems like OG's not getting an extension done, no, it's the player. It's not the team. The team is coming at him with the money and saying, yeah, we'll sign you right now, just like they tried to do with Fred last year. But Fred is, wanting to get more money. He said, no, I'm going to wait. Rich Paul and I are going to wait, and OG very well could do the same ploy. So people need to realize that in some ways, if the extension doesn't get done, that may not be a criticism of the front office. It may be more that the people's representatives are telling him and advising him that you don't need to sign now. Just wait. These guys all said they don't like thinking about the business stuff. They're worried about basketball. They're worried about playing on the court. They're worried about making the shots and winning basketball games. They don't worry about their contract situations, their extensions. They let their people do that. So if OG does not get an extension in the next little while, know that his agent has told them we're waiting and we're going to see what happens on the market. So yeah, don't get all upset if this doesn't happen. It realizes business decision by Anunoby's people. Shaq Lindsay saying Masai's message to Pascal was no one is bigger than the team. Yeah, and it should always be that way. It should always be that way. That's right. Let's say Fiercely saying they were saying Lillard didn't like what happened to DeMar. That is true. That's very, very true. He does not like Masai because of him trading DeMar to San Antonio for Kawhi. So Lillard very much that factored into part of the reason why he didn't come here. Yeah. Cowboys saying he cleaned Cabby's windows. I admonished Cabby. I was like, dude, don't be the part of this noise, this anti-Canadian. Come on, Cabby. Don't be one of these guys. You're supposed to be on our side. But in some ways, Cabby's kind of a turncoat. He's all over the place. Like, he's not just Toronto sports. He's trying to be friends with sports of all places and all people all over, states and Canada. So, Cabby, you're just a media sellout. You're not a real one towards Toronto in some ways. And that's fine. You just go ahead and live your life and be your career. But you're not a real one like we are. Some are saying Milwaukee is colder than Toronto. Yeah, that's not why. It wasn't about the weather. It's more about I really think it's this, Summerlow. I think that Dame Lillard has an entourage. He has guys that he has very close ties with, maybe best friends since he was a kid, maybe family members like Uncle Dennis. And they have a perception about Canada that they think is kind of negative. I feel like this is true because of that podcast that was brought out recently where they were talking about the World Cup and they were being very like American kind of bullshit and not very internationally worldly in their mind. So I think it really is the people around him kind of told him he may have been open to it in some ways, But I'll bet you his people are like, we don't want to go to Canada. You can be wasting your time up there. You don't have a whole lot of years in your career left. Why the fuck do you want to go to Toronto? And it could be like that. So let's keep going. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love it, love it. That was a weird trivia, but it worked out all right. It did. It worked out all right. So yeah, Dennis came in and he had a different jersey on when he did media day. Everybody else coming in and getting the red jersey. Well, Dennis came in. I think he got our specialty jersey in the picture that Monique posted. Very, very interesting. Let me do the Instagram stories real quick. Dennis Schroeder's. This is on Monique's official Instagram. She has a picture of Dennis, quickest media day in history, and that picture's not up any longer. I don't know where he might have been told to take it down because maybe we're not supposed to see the jersey, because there's our special jersey in the picture. It's an all gold with very little black on the trim. It's our We the North Welcome Toronto jerseys, and they're very gold, guys, this year. So I think I've seen our brand new Raptors special jersey for this season, and it's a very gold jersey, y'all. Go follow Monique on her Instagram and look at her Instagram story. You can see it too. Dennis modeling our very latest jersey, which is very gold. This is the most gold Raptor jersey I've ever seen. In fact, it almost looks like a Indiana Pacers jersey if it was a little bit more golden. Yeah, really interesting stuff. We see Yuta in his Phoenix Suns jersey, number 18. Let's go, Yuta. Ron Harper Jr. Something going on here. Let's see. He's at media day. It is number 8, looking ready for the season. There's Grady Dick at media day wearing number 1. And the flash bulbs of the media day lights. And there's a nice picture of him with Precious. It seemed like they were palling around yesterday. Precious and Grady. Love to see that. Chris Boucher on his Instagram stories is doing a backflip off a boat. Yeah. And then he's saying, this is funny. Chris is saying, in honor of spooky season, I will now be ghosting everyone. It's also because you're going to work, sir. You got to get on it and get going. It's time for you to get to Vancouver and put in that work. Scottie's got a picture of the cloud cover on the way over yesterday out west. He's up on that plane up high in the sky with the Raptors flying across the country to get to British Columbia. Scottie getting a really good cloud cover picture in there. Mogi saying a happy birthday to his brother on his Instagram. Mr. New York City has got himself on blast from his K-State days on there. Let's see, what else is he saying? There's a picture of him being at the Sportsnet studios. He's also got October, November is going to be nothing but blessings and miracles. I know it, and I'm claiming it. I love that. I love that. You go, Noel, showing up at this Sportsnet studio and doing your little dribbling poses for the promos for this year. Good stuff, Marquise. Love to see it. Raptors Media Day checking in. There's Precious talking to us on the Media Day saying, what's up, everybody? It's Raptors Media Day. We're ready to get started. Really cool stuff. We also saw Grady doing kind of a similar thing, too. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's DeMar at his Media Day with Zach LaVine wearing their jerseys. Yeah, Dennis on the plane, just trying madly to get to Toronto. I don't think he got here in time. And then he's like also trying to he's trying to get to Vancouver now. It's like, don't even try and get to Toronto, Dennis. Just go straight to Vancouver. All right, Monique brought it up. Ellen Schroeder with another drop on her YouTube channel is fantastic. She's saying at the beginning of it, she sometimes gets in these periods where she just doesn't do a lot of drops on her YouTube channel because she's like doesn't think anybody's interested in it. But she's been buoyed by all the comments and support from people, and she's encouraged to do more YouTube clips. And I love that. In some ways, she was filming late at night when it was very quiet because she was doing her Harry Potter puzzle. And as she put it, this is the only time she gets for herself. During the day, this is taking care of the kids and running the family. And when they're asleep, maybe she gets a little bit of time to do puzzles, one of her favorite hobbies. That's very cool to find out the hobbies. And she's showing us all kinds of cool stuff. Showing us like Dennis's drinks by the bedside, a bunch of pictures they have in their bedroom. Very, very like an intimate, like kind of content about the Schroeder's married family life, and very interesting. Some of the stuff that was said on it was that they hired movers to move all of their stuff from Los Angeles to Toronto before they even arrive. So she's hoping that the movers got everything into the house so that when she shows up, everything's ready and set for them to just start living their life. And I think she shows up either today or tomorrow. So yeah, I wish you luck with this transition, Ellen Schroeder. I know that this is probably very hectic and kind of stressful, moving around like this and being international between Germany, United States, and Canada. A lot of different things going from different directions to different places and sorting it all out. And as she put it, she has 5 people to take care of, the 3 children, her husband, and herself, as far as clothing and getting everything organized and ready to be coming to Toronto. And she promised us she's going to document this stuff. There's going to be a ton of content coming from Dennis, his wife, his brother, his friends, Joel and Mikey. Yeah, if you want to watch Dennis Schroeder's life, you can basically see it. It's all put on YouTube. So yeah, Ellen, thank you for another drop, and we appreciate you and love you, and we wish you so much good luck in the transition of coming to Toronto and setting up y'all's life, your family life here. Yeah, great stuff, Monique. What a great job. And as always, it's in German. So if y'all watch Ellen's channel, put on the subtitles. So you're not just sitting there wondering, what's she saying? Oh, CC, click that. Yeah, now I know what she's saying. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Mo, for bringing that up. Yeah. All right, let's see. Ahmed wanted Fiercey to slow down a bit. Listen, this is just how we do it. It is a competition, Ahmed, and you are a contender. You really want your competitor to duck and not do as hard, their best, just to help you. No, Fiercey got to go full tilt, and so do you. And there you go. Yeah. Name was saying, could you do a text to speech, Monique? It may help with your speed. That's an interesting idea. I don't know. In some ways, we thought about how to do this. In some ways, I give her a delay point if she's right there, right after it. But in some ways, also, this isn't the big deal. It's just trivia. And in some ways, Ahmed, him like not taking it so seriously is a good sign. Nobody should be being like, this is cutthroat. This is just for fun. It's educational. And really, the winning it is just kind of a silly thing. In fact, last year, David won it, and that bobblehead ended up going to Raymond Jacobs. So in some ways, it's not like he did get a prize. He got a really awesome gold chain. But in some ways, it's not as cutthroat or serious as it has to be. I like y'all talking trash. It's kind of fun, though. Let's see. Infamous is saying, I got something to say about Grange. Ooh, tell me, Infamous. Go ahead and type in that comment. I'd love to see that. Yeah. Let's see. Let me make sure. I'm going to skip all the answers. Cool Cat really does agree with me. Let's focus on court stuff and IG posting from players. Yeah. In some ways, the front office stuff is just getting tired and stupid. I will react to things that they do that are concrete and in real life, and I will stop reacting to all the imaginary things that people are talking about way too much. I will. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and I'm so glad that Masai doesn't pay attention to social media. It sounds like OG doesn't either. I don't think these guys pay as much attention as you think. They really, really don't. Everybody has this ego. Oh, they're paying attention to what we say and what we care about. A lot of them do not. The players don't give a shit what the fans are saying because y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. That's right. Ignore it. Don't go there. Don't even listen to it. If it does get to them, well, if you have a problem, OG, call Masai. He'll say, yeah, we're not talking about you getting traded for Mikal Bridges. No. Okay, bye. There you go. He reassures them. That's right, our guy, Masai. That's right. That is right. Bam, bam, bam. All right, let me keep going, get past all these comments that are just answers. And David didn't even hear the question. He got it. That's hilarious. David didn't even hear the question, and he answered the question correctly. That's so funny to me. Honestly, that's so funny. All right, let's see. I'm going to go with all right, here we go. We'll start with Randolph here. Lex, the front office may have to do what's best for the team. If Fred knew that they were looking for a good situation for him, why not push for a sign and trade so that they get back something? Well, once again, you're supposing too much. And this is the biggest fault of the fans right now is there's a lot of supposing. There's a lot of kind of filling in the blanks and thinking, oh, this is what's going on, and this could have happened, this could have happened. From what Masai said, first of all, they have to handle it very, very delicately with people like Kyle and DeMar and Fred. In some ways, they didn't handle it delicately with DeMar, and it really was a bad thing in some ways, but it was the right thing. Fred, it was handled delicately and it was the right thing. And it was, Kyle, it was handled delicately and it was handled the right way for everybody for it all to work out. And that went really well. So it's like there are three different situations: DeMar, Kyle, and Fred. DeMar was very much, it helped the team and screwed over the player. Kyle helped the team and helped the player. And then Fred helped the player but screwed over the team. And it really is like that. In some ways, we had to kind of have faith in Fred to be loyal to us because of built up time with him and all that happened. But in some ways, it gets to the point where this is so much more money. I'm sorry, y'all. This goes against loyalty. In some ways, my loyalty is my family, and I need to make the most money possible for my kids and my family. And that's where it gets to at that point. I think that Fred really did kind of intend to possibly try and come back to Toronto. But because of the special situation with Houston, it just wasn't in the cards. In some ways, Masai and Bobby did not know what the CBA agreement was going to be at the trade deadline this year. That was all figured out in the summer in between Fred's decision and the decisions that needed to be made at the trade deadline. We don't have time machines. They can't jump forward and say, oh, this is what they're going to decide with the CBA. And now all of a sudden, Houston's going to have to spend a lot of money to fill up their cap, or they're going to have to pay a penalty. So they're going to overpay Dillon Brooks and Fred VanVleet. So that it really was a special storm of circumstances that made this go this way. And you know what Masai said yesterday is it was not a subtraction. He really does not see Fred's departure as a negative. He sees it as a great opportunity to get a plus. And he very much cited that Dennis is here to replace him and he's going to do fine. He's very confident in him. So it's a weird thing. Once again, it's getting around to perception in the eye of the beholder. And if somebody wants to be like, oh, this is negative, they did this badly. Okay, well, let's look at the real facts about it, the order of things. That trade deadline with Fred, Masai was like, you know what, this is Freddie. We can't just trade him willy-nilly, like all of a sudden and like screw him over in a way. We have to honor him. He's done everything so loyal and done good things to us. Even if he screws us over this summer, we still have to be the bigger, better person as a franchise and honor him. It's true. In some ways, we may not see another person wear number 23 in the Raptors jersey, y'all. Nobody's going to get 23 after this. It's going to be just like Kyle and DeMar. That number is going to get retired for Fred. So that's the level he's at with us. And Masai sees him at. And that's in some ways why he said, you have to respect the player. So in some ways, he wasn't really trying to hear deals at that time, partly because he wanted to respect him just like he wanted to respect Kyle, the same situation his year that he ended up leaving this summer. It's just that Fred couldn't do the solid that everybody was kind of calling out at the time. Some of y'all were like, why doesn't Fred do a sign and trade to help us? Well, he doesn't have to, and his management didn't want to, I guess. And in some ways, that sucks because we get screwed over in a way. But in a way, once again, like Masai said, this job is hard, y'all. And this is why all y'all that are crazy out there that think you can do his job are crazy. This is not an easy job. You know, trading players and like players just leaving is one of the hardest things to deal with. And y'all would shaking your boots. Some of y'all GMs at home trying to be doing his job. You have no idea how hard his job is. And thank God you're not doing his job. Y'all would do such a faulty way of doing it. You would be panicking. You'd be fearful. You wouldn't be confident like him and steering the ship in a confident way. You make knee-jerk reactions out of fear and you'd fuck our team up with poor decisions. So that's why I'm glad Masai runs this team. He's confident. And even though everybody sees the horrible craziness he's going to have to go through as far as with trying to figure out who's going to be on which team, he's not scared. And he says, yeah, this job is hard and I'm going to do a good job. We got to navigate through this and we're going to figure it out. And so you either trust in Masai to figure this out as far as the contracts and who's going to get our money and stick around, and which makes total sense. He said, look, if you play Darko's system, you fit it. Darko likes you. You fit with this system. Well, boom, you're more likely to stick around. So there's nothing to not like here. They've set up a system for achievement for the players to go above and beyond. And if they don't, well, they're probably going to see the door. And that will be the way Masai can figure out which one of these players to invest in, which one to let go. And that's it right there. You want to play for a contract with the Raptors and stay in Toronto? Well, you better fit in, is what we're saying right now. Yeah. Let's see. Nameless saying OG has got the greatest zen on the team. Yeah, I could get behind this nameless. In some ways, there's that old book, the Tao of Pooh. In some ways, he has that spirit of the Tao of Pooh from way back in the day. Very simple, but very deep and very wise. In some ways, you don't have to be a brilliant person to be very happy and to be very kind of like wise. Smarts and wisdom are very different things. And I think that in some ways, I'm not saying that OG's not a smart guy. I think he's a very, very smart guy. But in some ways, I think he's wiser than he's smart. How about that? Randolph saying, Lex, NBA rumors, Reggie Bullock plans to sign Rockets contract following Spurs buyout. Well, that's fine with them. Go ahead and get Reggie Bullock and add a little bit more veteran to your team. A lot of teams are just adding a little bit pieces here and there. And, this is what you do. It's training camp. We're getting ready. And it's time to figure out your team. So, yeah, Reggie Bullock going to the Rockets. I'm not surprised by that. Seeing Freddie in the Rockets jersey yesterday, a little bittersweet, a little tough to see. He said, it's the same old me, but it's just a different look. I feel sad about it in a lot of ways. But, Fred, you know what? You got their money. Happy for you in that way. Well, I think the rest of what happens with you, well, hopefully it's not too bad. Let's just put saying the media on the side wants to land controversy hits like U.S. sports media. Yeah. Yeah. It's like they want to be like them or they're just being directed by Ted Rogers. Seriously, at some point yesterday in the live stream, I said, remember, Michael Grange is directly employed by Ted Rogers III. So in some ways, Michael Grange is the voice of Ted Rogers III in that media room when they do those press conferences. David Support saying Raptors media is really terrible. Who are these people? Like it should be you, Jake, Chev, and Samson. Fire all these hockey heads. I'm not totally against that. I think Jake should definitely be in there someday. Chev would be weird. If Chev and I were asking questions, they'd be off the wall, kind of weird questions. I would probably ask lifestyle questions. I may ask a couple of basketball questions. I definitely wouldn't ask front office questions. I definitely ask stuff like, OG, what did you do this summer? Because I wouldn't ask OG that question. I may ask the other guys those questions. But yeah, I'm all about that, David. In some ways, that we're getting a fresher crop of new people coming up, younger people, but some of them are idiots. Aaron Rose, gross, man. There's some of these guys that are really, really idiots. And and I really don't turn to the dark side, Oren Weisfeld. That's what I'm saying. And neither do you, Samson Folk. Don't go tabloid in any kind of way. Even if the fans are asking you to ask tough front office questions, don't be tabloid about it, Samson Folk. Please, please don't. Name is saying Pese de Merd. Pese de Merds. Okay, what is that? Is that a patty? Mugarbe's here. Good to see Mugarbe Lennon. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. I was listening to Rod on YouTube, and he is so happy and saying Masai called out Pascal for selfishness. You're talking about Pensair? Yeah, well, can be happy about it. In some ways, listen, what happened yesterday is just supposed to happen. They're orientating their season and what's going to be important to look for. In some ways, they gave a lot of power to Darko. That Darko is going to be directing and using these guys in a totally different way to beat the selfishness out of this team. So there's none of this selfishness like last year. There needs to be extra passes. There needs to be cuts. There needs to be assists. They're not any of this. Don't pass it to anyone because we're trying to avoid getting turnover stuff. Darko is okay with turning the ball over, unlike Nick. So we're going to have to get the right balance of this. One of the things I really loved hearing was upping the tempo, the pace. Gary Trent Jr. saying that one of the things we've done so far since Darko took over is we're going really quick up and down the court. Scottie saying that he practiced that a lot this summer. Some people making fun of him for saying, what, you just ran all summer? Yeah, no, he didn't just run all summer. He ran and he shot while he's doing that. That's part of it. You run up and down the court. You take shots also, you idiots. It's not like he was just doing cardio, running up and down the court, doing suicides. No, he was running up and down the court, take a shot, rebound it, run back down the other way of the court, get back on defense. He was doing all the proper kind of like body memorization, muscle memory kind of stuff, and also working on his endurance and his breath so he can run harder, longer, and faster for more of the game. So, yeah, I love what they're saying. Up tempo, push that ball. No more walking the ball up. But also Darko saying that we're going to do half-court stuff, that he is going to have a very active half-court set, so we won't be stagnant in half-court. That's been an area we've been absolutely dreadful at in the last 2 years, is half-court offense. Well, Darko could fix that up a lot better too. with better kind of sets and systems that actually flesh out things. Another thing that I absolutely love about what Darko said is he's going to give achievement roles for each of the guys. No more of this ambiguous bullshit. Just do the correct next winning play. Nah, he's going to tell them, look, you've got this duty. I want you to get these rebounds. You have to be in charge of getting the defensive rebound to end the possession here because you're one of our best rebounders. And we need you to really focus on this. We need you to be on the ball giving on the ball pressure, Dennis. You need you to do this. You can give these guys specific roles and things to achieve on the game. And that will help with the problems with last year with ambiguity. Nobody's doing the jobs because everybody could, but nobody's actually coming and doing them. Well, he's going to sell it. This is your area that you are responsible for. And we will call you accountable if you do not take care of these things that I'm asking you to do. So that's part of the difference is going to be from last year is in some ways, Darko's going to be giving them like a checklist of things that their duties are going to be. And if they're not doing their duties, that should add up to the things. If they all do their duties, it'll all add up to winning and the vision he has. If they're not doing it, he can nitpick and he can specifically come to them and fix it with them. He said, well, I'm asking you to do this more, OG. Please do this more. And then he starts doing it more. That's what I'm talking about. It's fine tuning. It's being on the same page. It's giving the players what they need to know to do to be successful instead of just saying, go out there and play, guys. That's what fucking Nick was doing. He's saying just relying on them doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do. Well, they need direction. And Darko's going to give them direction. And that's what I'm loving about it. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying Masai's message to Pascal is no one's bigger than the team. This is so true. And I really worry that some of our top level players stratify themselves. Fred and Siakam need to realize that DeMar and Kyle did not do this. So don't do this, Siakam. In some ways, your distance from the team this summer, I get it. It's because of trade rumors and the possibility of you getting moved. But I didn't like it. In some ways, you need to be there with the guys at all the things that you can be there with them. That was the way DeMar is and still is to this day. And that's why he's a really good team leader. And that's part of the reason why we built our team into a championship team is because Kyle and DeMar were not these kind of leaders that say we're the leaders and we don't have to do everything that the rest of the team's doing. Don't stratify yourself. I know you're not that you're going to miss practices, Siakam, but don't make it where you feel like you're better than them, that you don't need to be at team functions. You should be at every single thing, just like DeMar and Kyle would do in the past. It's very, very important. Very, very important. And Fred probably was doing a bit of that last season, where he was stratifying himself above the rest of the guys, and that was not helpful to things. That was not helpful. Him having the birth of his third child and him taking so long to get back to the team, that was a sign. I should have really read into a little bit better that Fred is not committed to the Raptors in the same way that we should have thought. I was really upset with them for taking 3 games off like that. Very, very upset with him. In hindsight, I remember, in some ways that really showed. It's like, his commitments to his family, his number one priority is family. And that should be that. But at some point, it's even more, so much more, he's willing to miss 3 games. Yeah, that I really didn't like that. Really didn't like that. G saying the media ruined the day for me. They had to repeat contracts and selfishness throughout. Yeah, people can try and paint it as the players and the management and the coach were kind of having weird energy. No, the media had weird energy. And I really hate I love Freddie Rivas of Confederacy of Dunks, but sometimes he's not being fair. He's just not being fair. And in some ways he's saying the press are shadowing or echoing the fans discontent about the team right now, that's what they were kind of bringing that energy to them. No, that's bullshit, Freddie. That's not what this is. The way it works is the media makes the shit up, the fans buy into it, and then they try and say, oh, it's the fans saying this. No, this all starts and originates with the media. The media starts the dumpster fires. Then the fans see it and they start talking about it. And then you think that it's because the fans are saying this shit about the team. No, they don't know what to fucking be upset about until Michael Grange or Oren Weisfeld directs them to what they should be upset about. So this is all purely manufactured by those idiots that sat in the room across from them. And you can see the uncomfortableness of saying hi to Michael Grange. Hi, Pascal. How are you doing? Hi, Michael. Ugh, bleh, bleh. Yeah, they hate these guys because they are a pain in their ass and they're causing trouble for them constantly. So don't fucking try and say that the press is speaking for the fans. No, the press is on their own agendas and they're pushing their own bullshit, and the fans are just vicariously buying into their shit. So the origin is from the media. It's not from the fans. David saying, Pese de murda, davvero piccole. Yes. Not sure what I said, but I'm sure Nameless is very happy with my pronunciation. Trevor's saying, we all need to look ourselves in the mirror and then say, how can I impact someone live today? Okay. I like that, Trevor. All right, keep looking yourself in the mirror. And if you can look at yourself in the mirror and you're okay with yourself, okay, that's good. I know Darko can do that. That's what he said. He ain't worried about no frivolous lawsuit. He knows who he is. And that's not his character. Tom Duke saying, is being presented on TikTok was annoying a surprise. Yeah, they try to throw us a little curveball. It seems like they do this every year. I don't know if TSN had the rights to Media Day or something like that. It was stupid. But yeah, the TikTok thing was stupid, but being able to watch it on TSN's website was actually pretty good by the end of it. But yeah, it's so dumb and so annoying. And honestly, Raptors official, please, can we just get it from y'all? Seriously, can we get it from y'all and not have to deal with these other ways? You did it last year that way, live streamed on Raptors official account on YouTube. Way better, would be better. Yeah, Nameless is laughing. Cowboy's saying, I think Spicy P is fine. I think he just doesn't know the general too much. He was all busy all summer, and that everything will be fine. Pascal will love Darko. Yeah, I think that this is true too. Out of the guys, he was the least familiar with Darko. You could tell. They may have only had a dinner together and maybe talked a couple times. Well, Siakam's ready to get to work. He wasn't totally sure he'd be a Raptor this season. Well, he still is, and he's got to show up, unlike James, who didn't show up for the Sixers yesterday. Yeah, he's showing up and he's saying, I'm willing to come work. There's nothing to not like about what Siakam said yesterday. He said all the right things, and he's really earnestly coming to learn Darko's system and to try and fit in it. I think he's going to be successful. I don't think Siakam is the player that Panser thinks he is. I think that he was just under the orders of Nick Nurse, and people will realize that. I think that once Darko and Pascal talk more and they get it more figured out, that it's going to be very good. Darko's not this kind of guy that's kind of like a dictator. In some ways, he's a flexible leader. And in some ways, he looks for what's natural and what these guys do. And he wants to go with that. If there's something Siakam's really good at that will fit in his style of play and his philosophy that's non-ISO, he will go with that. Watch. And it could very well be that we see some very interesting fruit born from Siakam this season without him being the isolation threat over and over again like he was last year. So yeah, David's saying on TikTok, unreal. I know it's like, where are we stooping to at this point? They can get the audio right on Media Day, but now we have to watch it on TikTok. What the fuck is that? Seriously. Quick Takes is here. Good to see NBA Quick Takes. Enough respect, Lex and the Raptor Freaks. Respect to you, NBA Quick Takes. Always happy to see you in the chat, and keep on keeping on, man. Keep being prolific with your drops and keep on putting that content out. Keep going, because you're going to get somewhere. Seriously, that's the whole key. You don't stop. If you stop, you're done. If you keep going, you will get somewhere. Trust me. I am amazed. Thank you for all the new subs. If you're a new subscription to this channel, I hope you'll enjoy my channel this season. Every game, I do a preview in the morning. So if you want to get ready for each game this season, this is your place to be. And then the next day is always a nice long reaction stream to the games. So if you love talking Raptors and you want your comments and your opinions read, I read every single comment on here. So I appreciate everybody subscribing in the last day or so. I got a huge jump in the last day or so, and I really appreciate all the new subscriptions. I really, really do. It's awesome. G saying, I follow Fred on Insta still, and his Media Day photos had a fire comment from Scottie as his top comment. I'm convinced the media makes players defensive when speaking. They don't express themselves well. Yeah. The whole thing, Scottie versus Fred, was so stupid, and that really was that idiot Robert Panser that championed that whole thing. These guys do not hate each other. They never did. And Scottie's been very super supportive of Fred and talked glowing of him in his exit. In some ways, Scott's ready to take more responsibility, and he's glad Fred's gone, but he does still respect him and love him for his time getting to play with him for 2 years of his first 2 years of his career. So yeah, see, there's more proof right there. If Scottie hates Fred so much, why the fuck is he commenting on his post yesterday? Yeah, exactly. Nameless is saying Masai was referring to Fred with the selfishness, not Pascal. I think he was referring to both of them. And listen, I'm just saying this. It's not that I'm coming after Siakam. Siakam came after himself. He didn't have to put a target on himself. They could have easily, any of them could have came up there. It could have been Gary, honestly. Gary could have said, yeah, I'm not a selfish player. He could have been, if he was worried about it, he could have been like that. Because in some ways, Gary's a selfish player. And he could have been easily feeling defensive about the Masai's statements early. But for some reason, Siakam felt defensive about it. And Gary was Gary was 10 out of 10 yesterday. That's why part of the reason why he's on the picture for this stream today. Yeah. Cowboy saying, good morning, Lex and the Rat Freaks. Bam, let's go. Thank you, Cowboy. And Infamous saying, can we trade media staff? I suggest we trade Grange to the Leafs for a bag of pucks and a bucket of extra crispy. All right, Infamous, you want to dunk for trading Grange. I don't know if we want to trade him to the Leafs. I kind of just want to trade him out of the country. Can we do that? Can we just send him right on out of the country? That would be pretty cool. I'm giving you a dunk. You got a dunk. Let's see. Mugarbe saying, but Lex, I don't like what Masai said. Pascal has to prove to him. Pascal's the only player in the NBA that improves every year. Well, it's not that he has to prove, he doesn't have to prove who he is. He doesn't have to prove that he's a top caliber player. And you got to remember, Masai also said, I believe in Pascal and I believe he'll be successful. So it's not that Masai's putting Siakam in a situation where he's destined to fail for sure. He's giving him a challenge this year. And in some ways, it's part of what we need to do to be successful and be a winning team this year. We cannot do this anymore. The isolation ball killed us and we lost a lot, partly because of it. And they know this. They understand this. In fact, they may have heard us on this channel complaining about it last year. So they are going to make the changes with the coach's system, and Siakam has to conform to it. And if he doesn't fit with the system, well, then it makes the deal easier to do, because they're like, well, he's not really fitting in with our future plans, with our coach and our young franchise player, Scottie Barnes. That's where it's going to get to in some ways. Pensera in some ways was too quick and too early with his bullshit last season. In some ways, this would have all naturally happened and occurred. It's just he's anxious. He's fucking impatient little shit that hides in the dark with his porn search on the screen. Yeah, this all was going to happen naturally. I knew this would happen naturally. That there'll be an actual transition between Pascal Fred era to Scottie's era. But he wanted it too quick. And in some ways, the media and the Scottie fans are forcing it too quickly. And in some ways, this is the natural progression of things. Now we got a new coach. And, well, if Siakam can't play in the team-oriented system and be successful, then it'll be easy for Masai to trade him, is basically what he's saying. But Masai loves him, he said. He's invested in him. He wants him to succeed. And he believes he will be succeeding. This is just good GM work. And being very clear and not being full of shit. He's just very cut and dry, saying this is how it is this year. And in some ways, the press is eating it up, and they may be kind of seeing this. But in some ways, I see this very healthy of what Masai did. And Siakam being very healthy about it too, saying, look, I'm a team player. I'm not selfish. I'm ready to do what the coach asks me. So I don't see a problem here. It's just people being adults being upfront and honest with each other and making sure that everybody understands what's expected this year. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. David saying agreed. And probably Nick knowing he wasn't playing the young guys enough. Listen, Nick was such a gatekeeper. He wanted Fred to get this $43 million, so he overplayed the hell out of him. A lot of it was Nick. Nick was the one in charge. He was the one directing things. And forgive Fred and Pascal for just doing what Nick told them to do. Seriously. There you go. Carlo JS is saying, morning, fellow freaks. Morning to you, Carlo. Good to see you. Had fun talking with you yesterday during media day. Fiercely saying Siakam made a good point. He is a champion. Nevertheless, he's also a team player and will do what is needed to help the team. That's right. I support Siakam. I want him to be completely successful in making the things that we need him to do this season. I'm not anti-Siakam. I'm very much a Siakam homer. I'm just being realistic about what was said yesterday and what the rules and what the parameters are for the season. He's all set up to be successful. It just really is. He's going to have to break some of this. And it's not that he's never going to be isolating at all. In fact, I speculate that sometimes he's gotten so good with the isolation stuff that may be a trick that he brings out all of a sudden and throws him off balance. Darko said, I'm not going to ISO that much, but it doesn't mean he's never going to ISO. He may ISO Siakam to win games still right at the end of the game. But if he doesn't ISO him all game and they figure out how to guard it throughout the game, if they spring the ISO on him right at the end of the game, Siakam will be successful and make the shot. So there's not anything not to like in this. And Siakam can still be our franchise top player for this year. But Scottie is going to overtake him at some point. Watch. Infamous is saying facts to Nameless. And Cowboys saying week 10, David, in your bro, week 2, let's go. Cowboys all about the fantasy league and trying to figure out the schedule and when he's playing these guys. If anybody in the fantasy league is in the chat right now and you want me to analyze your fantasy team, I did a little bit of this yesterday. I'll do it again right now. So please put in the comments, Lex, go look at my fantasy team and tell me what you think. If you want me to analyze your team right now, Bradley, I'll do yours. I'll do any of you guys'. Nameless saying, if you throw Scottie at point guard, he and Pascal could coexist marvelously. Pascal's not 33 years old yet here, people. It's about fit. And in some ways, people have been saying Siakam doesn't fit with the Raptors' direction for the future. Well, let's see. I bet you Siakam can make himself fit with the direction of the Raptors in their future. I don't think Scottie at point guard is a smart idea, and the Raptors understand this, and that's why we're not talking about that. They don't want this to get more bigger deal out of it. Scott may identify as a point guard, and he may very well do point guard kind of stuff. But in some ways, him playing point guard limits his potential and who he could be. He's more like Kawhi. He needs to be more like Kawhi than Magic Johnson. Let's just put it that way. He can be like Magic Johnson at times too, but that man needs to be more like Kawhi. Trust me. He needs to be more like Kawhi. Cowboys saying alley-oop to Nameless. All right, you want me to give an alley-oop to Nameless? I shall, and I will right now. Let me see. Where's my dunk list? And there's Nameless there. We'll just give him another dunk. I wonder how many of these have been alley-ooped from Bradley to you, Nameless. All right, let's see. Tom Duke is saying that was resonated with me too, Fiercey. Siakam and Scottie are so versatile. Darko's system will have opportunities for our best players, all of them. Yeah, I'm glad Siakam said, look, I'm an NBA champion. I've done this. I've done that. He needs to stand up and say that stuff because in some ways that separates him from most of the NBA. That separates him from Dame Lillard. That separates him from Jason Tatum. That separates him from Zion Williamson. That separates him from Joel Embiid. So it's like, yeah, say it loud and remind these people, you are an NBA champion. You were a Scottie Pippen on an NBA team. You were the number 2 guy that got us to a championship, and speak respect on Pascal's name in that kind of way. I hate this. In some ways, this is the natural evolution that maybe the last huge piece of our championship team may be leaving. But in some ways, we can't be afraid of change and what we need to do. So I want Siakam to be successful for history and legacy's sake. I don't want Siakam to be leaving our team because he doesn't fit with Darko's system. I want you to fit, and I think you will. I really do think you will. Cowboys saying, watch out, NBA. I like it. Trevor J saying, I will stop that microwave at 0.01. Nobody got time for that hooting and hollering. Trevor J, that's such an off-the-chain comment. And in some ways, I'm wondering if you're talking about the press. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a dunk because you said a microwave at 0.01 seconds. How does does it really do 0.0 seconds? Is that just 1 second? That's 1 second. I got you now. I was like a 0.100th of a second. That's crazy. Cool Cat saying Pascal is not a fragile ego or a melting flower. He will be fine. He will continue to be a rich basketball player, whatever his career takes him. He was developed properly. There you go. There you go. There you go. He said it. He's like, I've always been here. This is my first year without Fred. When I came to Toronto, I was a young man, and I have totally changed and became an adult at this point. He has grown so much as a person, as a player, as just in all kinds of ways. He's grown. And Cool Cat is a Pascal first person to a degree, but also at the same time, she understands he's going to be fine no matter what. It was really jarring to me in some ways, and it hurt. Hearing him not say that he did say that rumor was true about him and his loyalty to the Raptors. And that makes you think, well, who made up that rumor then? If Siakam did not say, if you trade me to another team, I won't sign an extension. I'll come right back to Toronto. Who said that? Was it somebody out there trying to hurt his trade value, like the Atlanta Hawks and Shams, to try and help them make a deal so that it would be less and cheapen him? Because that in some ways hurt his trade value when that was said. And if there's a nefarious force out there that was trying to do that to help, thank God Siakam didn't get traded this summer. Think about that with Brian Winder's logic. If there's forces out there trying to submarine Siakam's value by making it false trade rumor thing about him not, a similar thing to what Lillard did this summer. That's very nefarious. So maybe at that point, Atlanta started sending really shitty deals to us for Siakam, and Masai's like, no, 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 no. And thank God, seriously. And that may upset people. It's like, well, why didn't you trade him? Well, you didn't see what they were offering us and how shitty it was, and how you would have been very upset if he had said yes. So, yeah, I mean, and then the second thing, besides him denying that rumor, that really did kind of disappoint me. Partly because I wanted to believe what that was said was true. Well, it was false. And that was a good rumor for us. And the second thing that disappointed me was the way he handled who he plays for. He said, right now I wear a Raptors jersey. That's a bad tell. I hate that. In some ways, he really did expect to get moved this summer, just like Fred left. And I can tell that's part of the reason why he was distant in a way. Well, Siakam, listen, man, you got an interesting season coming up. It may be very different than your last couple seasons. But I believe in him too, Cool Cat. I think he's going to thrive, and he's going to do exactly what he needs to do to stay in a Raptors jersey. If it doesn't happen that way, it sucks, and it'll be tough to say goodbye. But, Masai said it. Like, listen, he's not going to mess around and wait. If he gets in trouble for being seen as, like, letting another guy leave for nothing, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. And the public's just so stupid with their pitchforks and torches for a front office right now. We are going to need Masai to be on top of things and be ready to do stuff quickly, if anything, to save his reputation and to not look bad to idiot fans out there. So G saying Fred was a system player under Casey, and so was Pascal. There you go. Exactly. They had to start somewhere. The 905 is a system game. Dwayne Casey, system play. Still a system player with the championship team. Both of those guys. They were not focal players. They were role players. In some ways. I mean, Siakam was a focal player, but Fred was definitely on the role player side of things at that point. Yeah, I could see. What is it? Siakam's just going to revert to something he did from before? Okay, he should be able to do this. Name is saying people make a big deal out of Pascal's timeline, but forget that Scottie is a child phenomenon. Yeah, that was a really good answer that Masai gave about Scottie and the differences in his summers. And he's saying, look, young men have to grow up, and they have to learn lessons. He cited Grady as being, 19 years old. There's going to be differences in these young guys as they get older a little bit. They're going to get more mature. They're going to get more worldly. They'll get more smart. And they have to make tough mistakes at times to mature and learn. And, Scottie in some ways is learning stuff. So there you go. And also he's saying Scottie is not normal, so stop treating him that way. Yeah, I'm not going to treat him normal. Every NBA player is not normal to a degree. If you're making millions of dollars and you're like 6'9", that's not a normal person. That's not a normal person. Cowboy saying alley-oop. Well, you got to direct it. You can't just throw the ball up in the air. It's like alley-oop. All right, where's it going though, Cowboy? I don't know who to give the dunk to. Evelyn is saying, good morning, fam. I love the way Masai responds, precise, phlegmatic, and relaxed. Yeah, Evelyn found that he was very, I found his energy to be kind of up and down. He was very kind of, in some ways, like not happy. You could tell he's a little bit like pissed and a little bit, but at other times he rose up and he was very inspirational. Like when he started talking about international players and Canada players versus US players and who wants to come here and we're going to try and win. That was inspiring. Like, let's do this for the Gipper kind of stuff. He had his moments. And as y'all said yesterday, he finished really strong. Like when he left that podium, he did a mic drop, basically. But there were times during his interview where he was pensive and seemed like a little hurt. And that's not normal for him in there. But I felt like he sailed his ship pretty good. He was honest. He was real. Let's just put it that way. Masai was real in all this, and I love him for it. And he was just cutting the chase. No bullshit. You can go listen to other team presidents. They're just going to give you a bunch of bullshit and maybe rose-colored glasses. Maybe that's part of the problem. Our team president's a realist, and he's kind of trying to set you guys straight and tell you the truth. Other team presidents may just ignore and not talk or answer anything. You see, we should value that. In some ways, there's an open honesty coming from Masai that we heard yesterday. He told us exactly what he expects, and there will be accountability this year. Nameless is saying Scottie was the best player in that draft. I agree with this. I completely agree with you, Nameless. And Cowboys saying preach. Mugabe saying it is unfair to Pascal. Masai never built around Pascal, but I know Pascal will be okay. In some ways, that people will say, well, he's not a franchise player. He's not a number one. That's been the knock. And to a degree, they're kind of right, but they're not totally right. I'd say he's like almost a franchise player. He's a 1.5. He's not totally a one, but he's not totally a two. And he's very close to being a one. Now, if he had broken through and the team had won a lot with him carrying the team in the last 2 years, then I would say we need to build more around Siakam. But they've given him a chance, Mugarbe. And maybe it's not the right roster around him, but he's had good, talented players around him too. So I don't know if it's unfair. I think Siakam's gotten a lot of opportunities, and he's been very, very successful and thriving. Cowboy saying, "Hope you're getting and feeling better, Granny Swag." Yeah, hope your burn is healing up real nice, Evelyn, and you're feeling better. Nameless is saying, "If Scottie ever develops that Kobe mentality, look the hell out." Well, he does. He does. David Robinson esque. He does have that mentality. You don't think Scottie's got Mamba mentality? He does. And he's going to show it more and more very soon. He has a certain like gear that he can get into where he gets ultra competitive and he gets really like he wants to tear somebody's head off. So yeah, he has Kobe in him. And it'll be more and more apparent in the next couple of years. Watch. Cowboys saying what Lex is saying. Don't be don't be that guy. Exactly. Shaq Lindsay saying, look at the relationship between Greg Popovich and Tim Duncan. Greg Popovich didn't favor anyone. No one was bigger than the system they played. Yeah, and I want them to mimic that. And Duncan was smart enough to realize that, and unselfish enough to realize that and thrive in that. Tim Duncan is a very different kind of normal NBA player. A player that's as that height with that much of a low ego is not normal. And in fact, part of the reason his makeup was so good and he was so successful was because of that. Now, who's the most like Tim Duncan in the league right now? Nikola Jokic. And who's the champion currently? So that's the thing. If Scottie can be more like Jokic and more like Duncan, he's going to have a very good career and win championships. That's the way to be. Don't be like Durant. Don't try and be like Kawhi in some ways. Oh, well, I should say be like Kawhi. He's won championships, but don't be like Durant and just be offensive. Very much got to play both sides of the court, and you got to involve your teammates. And that's something that Duncan and Jokic do very, very well. Very, very well. Shaq Lindsay, thank you for your comment in the comparison with Popovich and Duncan. Nameless saying, if Scottie ever decides to work 80 hours a week, the whole league is in trouble for the foreseeable future. Well, what if I told you he did do that this summer? What if I told you he did do that, Nameless, and you're getting exactly what you just said is going to be coming right now? So you remember I said this. Darko said it yesterday that Scottie's been working incredibly hard this summer. Masai said it. He said Scottie has worked so hard this summer, and he's very excited to show you guys what he has done. That's what he said on Twitch too. He said, I worked a lot this summer. So, Nameless, he might have done those 80 hours a week that you're talking about. He may very well have this past summer. I know he wasn't on Twitch. I didn't see him there. So he must have been somewhere. If he wasn't on Twitch, he was in that gym. So there you go. Yeah. Nameless saying that's the key, Scottie. If you're seeing this, the solution is simple. Just work double the amount of everybody else. And he did. He did. His body's showing it, and his shot and his play and his conditioning is going to show it this year. Watch, Nameless. It's coming. It's coming. Mugarbe saying, but Lex, Pascal was the only one that was asked that question. No, that's not true, actually. They did ask the selfish question to Gary. They asked the selfish question to OG also. And I think they even asked it to Scottie. And they did ask it to Jakob. I think they asked every single guy a selfish question. It's just Siakam got defensive, like very quickly. It's interesting. His response to it is like, I don't consider myself a selfish player ever. Dude, that's not what they said. They didn't accuse you of being selfish. In some ways, he incriminated himself to being that's the perception or the thought of it. Either way, he's fine. He's not in trouble. He's just got to do a more team-oriented game this year. And I think he won't have a problem with that. His ego's not tied up into it. Cowboys saying Darko will, but these guys put these guys to work Mountain Standard Time. Bam. Well, they're going to be on Pacific Time. And I'm worried about Dennis's body clock. This man is going from Germany all the way around the world to Vancouver and very quickly. And like in some ways, I don't think Dennis Schroeder is going to be ready for training camp today. That he may need to sleep and kind of get on the schedule of how to get with everybody. Maybe he's crazy. Maybe because of FIBA World Cup, he's used to this jumping around from Germany to Dubai to Indonesia to Japan to all over the place. That's what I'm saying. So, Dennis, I don't know. I'm hoping you adjust with your jet lag quickly so you can come to practice. Seriously. Infamous is saying the reporter did what they did on purpose for a soundbite by linking him without being specific about when the conversation took place with Masai. It's a family tactic lawyers and cops use. Yeah, entrapment kind of shit. No, I get it. But see, Siakam could have answered it in a certain way. If his people had trained him the right way to handle that question, in some ways he handled it exactly right. He was just honest. And that's all we need from him. In some ways, sure, he's probably heard the criticism. He's heard all that stuff. And that's why maybe he was feeling like he should be defensive. I'm not mad at him for being defensive. And I'm not mad at people for bringing this up and this being an issue right now, because this is an issue. And the Raptors do need to fix the shit for this season. We need to play more like a team ball game. We cannot play two individuals heavy ISO like we did with Fred and Pascal last year. We just can't. We just can't. Nameless is saying Scottie can be as good or as dominant as he desires to be. He's got all the control. How bad do you want it, son? That's right. And he realizes that. I tell him that stuff in the Twitch all the time, Nameless. I say, Scottie, you can do whatever you want. You want to do this? You go do it. You can do whatever the fuck you want in the NBA. Trust me. You want to win the dunk contest? You can go win that dunk contest. You want to win Defensive Player of the Year? Well, work towards it. You'll get it. You want to win championships? You will get it, Scott. And he does. He wants all of this stuff, man. He hates losing so much. He hates it so much. He's the right person for us to be getting behind and going. It's just I hope that he's not. There's a couple of things he did. Like one thing he said the other day that kind of bugged me is like the top 8 guys matter on the team. Well, that's not jiving with what Darko said yesterday. He's going to go 10 deep. He wants to do 5 guys off the bench this year, and I am all for this. I've been crying out for this for a while. Nick likes doing those tight 8-man, 7-man rotations with games. I hated those. If you want to get less tired guys at the end of the game, play 10 guys. And Darko said very explicitly yesterday, he's going to have a 10-man rotation. It's not going to be an 8-man rotation. And Scott said, oh, the 8 guys only matter. Well, Scott, you're going to come into training camp today, and Darko's going to tell you we're going to run a 10-man rotation. And that is fantastic. More guys involved, less minutes on guys that are too heavy of minutes there. Yeah, he can be as good as he wants to be. You go take it, Scott. The world is your oyster. We just live in it. You shuck it the way you want to shuck it. G saying the way the reporter asked Pascal was very sketchy. Could have said in regards to team selfishness, what will be different? Not in regards to selfishness, because must have spoke to you first. Whatever. In some ways, we got to understand that the reporter is going to ask the stupid, crazy shit that they're going to. And in some ways, Siakam and Barnes and those guys just need to be trained to be able to handle those. In some ways, Masai got a question at one point that he didn't know how to totally answer at first. And it was kind of funny the way he handled it. He did a good job. He did a very good job. There were a couple of tells from Masai that I want to go into. But, I think that everybody did a pretty good job at Media Day. I know it wasn't a normal Media Day. Normally it's like fun and light and everybody's happy. No, there are dark clouds around our team right now. And most of them are manufactured by the media and their bullshit and their consternation over extensions and contracts and the future. Masai said this is a difficult job. Just let him navigate his job through these waters. And trust in him that he will make the right decisions of who to give contracts and keep around the Raptors. So, yeah, Nameless is on a roll. You like what he's saying there? Nice. All right, Cowboys saying Scottie and OG for the future. All right. PK saying, no, it is reported yesterday. What is reported yesterday? Please elaborate, PK. I appreciate you. Cowboys saying everyone on this team is going to get a chance to shine under Darko. Hope Koloko gets better. Yeah, I want to see him get better because the opportunity's there. They're a 10-man rotation. Koloko could be one of them 10 men. Real easy. Yeah. PK saying Toronto Raptors forward OG Anunoby reportedly plans to enter free agency next summer and will not agree to a long-term extension. Mark Stein in his latest article. Okay, Mark Stein. Is that on ESPN or something? I don't know. Either way, that could very well be true. I mean, that makes sense. OG wants to make the most money. He's got to see how well he can do. Right now, he's slated to get a certain amount, and y'all are saying he's actually worth more. Well, that's business. That's the business side. OG doesn't want to think about that. He's just doing the playing the basketball. Blame OG's agent. Don't actually go after him for it. It's their management that's making the business decisions. He just plays. They want to do this because this is what's the best interest for his money. That's the thing. Masai's not just dealing with the players. He's dealing with their agencies and their managers. And they're different to deal with than OG, their friend. So in some ways, it's very difficult for him because he has a friend and somebody he cares about a lot And then he has some sort of shark in between them who's negotiating for that friend. Cowboy saying, "Oh, Canada." That's right. G saying, "That's the city edition." And he leaked it by accident, apparently. That's what I think happened because they posted it really quickly and Monique got a screenshot of it and then it disappeared because I wanted to go look at it at Dennis's site. So, yeah, we've seen the city edition jersey. It's all gold, y'all. It is on Monique's Instagram if you guys want to see it yourself. It's been hidden and washed away, but Mo got it and she got it posted. And then we thank you, Monique, for having it up there on your Instagram. Look at Cowboy putting Mo on blast there. Wayne's saying, if we saw the inconsistent play and non-productive strategy, don't you think Masai saw that too? His message was for everyone. Yeah, Siakam's the first guy. That's why they question him that way too. He's the leader, and in some ways, he has to come as the leader of the team to show leadership. And he did great. He was fine. He said the right things to a degree, and I have full confidence that Pascal will fit with Darko's system. He'll figure it out. He's such a versatile, good player. He's an everyman kind of player. And if he's not selfish and he's open to trying to change things, he's going to do fine. Now, if we see a side where Siakam has kind of gotten a little more arrogant or something since he's been bigger time in the NBA, well, then, yeah, maybe that is time to part from him. But if he's the same old Siakam he always has been, and he's not difficult in this whole situation, then everything should be fine. Everything should be fine. Mugarbe saying, Lex, you should know that all them young stars and superstars watching how they're treating Pascal, their player. Well, everybody's watching everything every which way. Teams do dirty shit to players all the time. And, it's really kind of a player versus owner kind of thing where they don't totally trust every owner in the league in some ways. If you do have some trust with your ownership group, that's great, and your management. But we can't worry about this. You think Masai was worried about like what it would look like with what happened with DeMar when Kawhi came here? He did maybe possibly, but not, in some ways we can't worry about that. You have to do things not in fear. And if you're worried about pissing off other players about how you're doing your management style, I get it. In some ways, Masai and Bobby worry about that more than maybe other front offices. Other front offices don't give a shit about their players and they'll treat them exactly like business commodities. Here, we have a family environment, so we may be a little bit better in this regards. So I'm not worried about this with our team because other teams can see. First of all, we have a black man in charge, and in some ways, some of these players like having that more than some rich white guy that they don't know or something like that. So there's a lot of strengths we have in this area in particular where I don't worry about this. In some ways, the perception of the players is that Masai does the players right by themselves. They saw how he did Kyle. They saw how things went with Fred this summer. Even if it hurt us, they did Fred right in that situation. So, yeah, I get what you're saying, but we shouldn't be afraid of this. David's saying, what interview did Mark Stein watch exactly? Those trolls are annoying. Well, it's probably the report is that they're talking to his agency. Maybe his agency released it already. Who knows? If this is what Raptor fans should realize. If OG's management is saying they're not going to take an extension from us right now and they want to get from big money this summer, well, that's a green light for Masai Ujiri to trade his ass this summer or trade him this season. I'm just saying that. That's part of the whole thing. It's like, all right, well, if you're signaling this and if you're not fitting with what we're trying to do and all this kind of stuff, well, it'll be easier for us to trade you this year. So, yeah, there's a couple of different things with this. Masai has to empower himself in the way he can empower himself. And that is trading people if he has to. And in some ways, that's the incentive. If you like playing for Toronto, you want to stay here, well, you better get with the program is what it is. And if OG wants to go for money, well, that's a risk he can take. In some ways, OG, you want to stay in Toronto, go ahead and sign that extension this week and make Mark Stein wrong. And then we don't have to hear about all this shit. If you want to get more money and that's really what you guys are doing, well, then you're at risk to get traded. That's how it is. There's a trade-off there. Yes, there is. Let's see what else y'all are saying. Oh, it jumped ahead. I want to make sure I don't miss anything here. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. All right, where was I? I was right here. Stargate. Cabby is just like 90% of the Canadian basketball media personalities. I find they go out of their way to not ruffle the feathers of any of their American counterparts. Well, yeah, he wants to get a job on the other side of the border. If you start spouting anti-American things like I do sometimes, yeah, you might not get hired over there. I don't care. Fuck America. Yeah, I'm the anti-cabbie. I'm not trying to suck everybody's. I won't say that. Just to like get jobs somewhere, and that's part of the problem with these media guys. Whether it's Aaron Rose, whether it's Cabby, they care about getting jobs on the other side of the border. Some of them, Savannah Hamilton would probably really like to go like Amy Audibert and go jump the border and go work for another team somewhere, even though she's from here. It would make her even more big time. So there's a lot of that is involved in that. Wayne's saying Pascal played like that for most of the season. Nick Nurse had no problem with it. So look at the coach. There you go. Boom goes the dynamite. Wayne's exactly right. Any blame for Pascal's selfishness is not on Pascal. It's on the coach who directed him to play that way. Exactly right. Carlos saying, I actually like this. Masai starting the new era, right? Calling everyone out for last year's play. No one is above the system now. Hopefully there won't be too much friction with Siakam. There you go. See, he's clearing the air. You set the parameters of what you expect, and people can have the chance to succeed. And that's what Masai said. He said, I believe in Siakam, and I know he'll be successful. He's not setting him up to fail and have an exit out of our team. He's giving him a path to get a future with us in the right way for how we need to do things to win. And Carlos exactly right. I like it too. The more I thought about it, the conflict between Masai and Pascal yesterday was not a bad thing. That's positive conflict. And that's also the kind of conflict that motivates and gets good results. So I have no problem with it either, Carlo. G saying, I'm all about asset management, but Fred leaving left space for Dennis. A trade may not have gotten someone better than Dennis and would fill in minimum $3 million in cap space. Dennis is saving the team some money. Yeah, that's why Masai straight up said Fred leaving is a plus. Everybody's describing Fred as leaving as being a negative for our team. Sure, we're going to lose intangibles. Sure, we're going to lose a certain kind of leadership and a certain kind of steady Freddiness. But also, we're going to lose a lot of the other stuff we didn't like about Fred. And there's a possibility of difference with Dennis that could be very fruitful. And in fact, maybe like Dennis fits our team like a glove. If you think about what Darko's trying to do, first of all, they're very tight. And in some ways, the shorthand and the familiarness is going to help with adjusting to Darko's system because Dennis is familiar with it. Then second, you got a guy who's more up tempo and in some ways a better defensive guard than Fred. Fred's a very smart defensive guard. Don't get me wrong. He's a good defensive guard. But Dennis is a different kind of defensive guard. So in some ways, Masai looks at it as we improved. He said it yesterday. Freddie leaving and us getting Dennis is an improvement. He straight up said that yesterday. That's how he looks at it. And that's how I look at it. But casual fans see Fred leaving and all this stuff, and they it's people out there that want to make us look bad, that just build media propaganda to say, oh, the Raptors look bad because they let Fred walk for nothing. He did us a favor. In a lot of ways, he did us a favor. And more people are going to realize this season when they see Fred in Houston and what happens there, and they see how we played this year in his absence. They're going to say, oh, wow, actually, this did really work out well for the Raptors. The changes with their point guard. Yeah, Carlos saying it's a blessing in disguise. Yeah, I bet you Fred won't buy in so easily to Darko's system. He wouldn't have. No, in some ways, Fred is stubborn. And in some ways, Fred is limited to play the way he plays because of his limitations as an athlete. So this is exactly right, Carlo. Fred would not fit in Darko's system. In fact, it was necessary for him to go. Necessary. Cowboys saying, watch. Yeah. David saying, bye, Fred. Good luck, bud. Yeah, we wish you well, Fred. We love you, bro. And you are always a Raptors legend. But this next chapter of your career is going to be dark. I'm going to tell you that right now. Stargate saying, Masai is a Jedi master using the Jedi mind trick. The Jedi mind trick only works on the weak-minded. The weak-minded fans have exposed themselves by how they are reacting to his comments. Laugh out loud. Once again, I said this earlier, perception from the person's mind. If you don't take care of yourself, if you don't sleep enough, if you're skipping meals, if you don't, you're abusing alcohol or drugs, you're always hungover, your body's always in conflict with itself, you're chemically predisposed to be negative and pessimistic. That people got to realize this. If you want to change your life, stop abusing drugs. That will change your life. Seriously. Your perception and your ability to see the sunshine and the happiness in life is so much easier when your body isn't absolutely attacking itself to try and fix the poisons that you put in it. And that's a big part of this. A lot of these people, if we did surveys and we said, okay, what's your perception of the team? And they were negative, and then we did another survey, and we could control and see who's answering the same questions. We could probably see a lot of the negative people are probably people that are not taking care of themselves. And that's a factor. Some people are young, they don't know how to take care of themselves. They're in college, they eat potato chips for a meal, and they drink a six pack after that. You think these people are going to have the right mind to think about things? No, they're not, because they're not taking care of themselves. So a lot of these internet trolls are just trolls, exactly, sitting at a keyboard 12 hours a day, not taking care of themselves. Of course, they're going to be spitting vitriol and negativity and sadness and anger because they're not taking care of themselves. Their body's crying out inside at the molecular level for them to please take care of yourself better. And that's a lot of it right there. David's saying, if you and Chev did a collaboration, it would be so sick. I'm all about it. You know, Chev, I would work with you any day, man. Seriously, I would do that. Seriously. Carlos saying, yeah, Masai had that poker face look yesterday. You know, he did and he didn't. There was pain in his eyes. And I'm telling you, I was really worried when I saw him last year intoxicated on Raptors Tonight. I think this is where it started going downhill, is where he started to realize there's pressure from above. There's problems with Nick. There's problems with the team not gelling and being together. And he's worried at that time. Well, he's sailing the ship through and he's doing a good job. And I'm proud of him. This has not been an easy year for the Raptors. In fact, in some ways, this past year has been more difficult than Tampa. In some ways, I'm serious. So yeah, I just wish him the best of luck and success and happiness, Masai. We need to do well. I know Darko needs to do well because his job and it's important for him to look good as a new coach. The players need to do well to help the coach and the team look better and to shut the media up. That's the best thing y'all could do, players. Win and kick ass, and that helps everything go away. Trust me, success will do that. So please be successful this year. It'll cause a lot of the noise to die out. And then the haters can just be hating us and our success. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Cool Cat saying the young media workers have to toe the company line for access and job stability. We as consumers can ignore their work until they change. Yeah, that's totally true. Some of those questions are preordained by certain people that they need to be done. There's totally all kinds of game plans and media strategies. Like I said, Rogers doesn't like Masai. He owns one of those media companies. That's why everybody has to have critical thinking. That's right. Wayne Strader saying, Stargate, you nailed it. Dunk for Stargate. All right, Wayne Strader getting his John Stockton on here. Let's see. Where is the dunk list? And we're going to give a dunk to Stargate. Stargate getting a dunk called out to him. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, where is Stargate on here? Where is Stargate? He's on here. There he is. Good stuff. Good stuff, Wayne. Let's see. David's saying, Eve, if he was just running back and forth, watch out. Even if he was just running back and forth, watch out. Y'all think he's got 9 pounds of muscle by breathing, right? No, he lifted too. Yeah, Scottie's a beast, and he's going to come back with dominance. Watch, he's coming back with a dominance this year. Infamous is saying one of the most interesting things Darko said was that 1 through 4 will be interchangeable. What's your opinion on this? Well, it's obvious that Jakob is the person who's not interchangeable. Basically, I think it's just going to be kind of similar to some of the things Nick did as far as bringing the ball up court. If you think about it, who's going to be our starting forward? OG, Scottie, Pascal, and either Gary or Dennis. That means that those 4 guys have the ability to pick the ball up off of a rebound and bring that up the court and initiate the offense. I don't think we're going to have a straight up point guard this year. I think that what he's saying is that there's going to be times where Scottie gets the board, he can just take it and run up the court or look up the court and try and throw it up the court to someone. Dennis gets the ball somewhere in there and he's a part of the fast break. It's just basically going to be interchangeable, and they're not going to have to look for the point guard to go ahead and throw the ball to bring the ball up the court, like maybe say Fred in the past. So I think that's what they mean, that 1 through 4 are going to be all kind of bring the ball up, whether it's Siakam, OG, Scottie, or Dennis or Gary. So that I think that's what that meant. Edmund's here. When does trivia start? I'm ready now. Edmund. Man, he hasn't been here all summer, but he comes back with a funny quote. All right, Edmund, where are you? You got to be on here somewhere. Come on, Edmund's got to have a dunk somewhere here. If Edmond doesn't have a dunk, and we're giving Edmond his first dunk today, that is an injustice that has not been right, and now he does have a dunk. That's hilarious. All right, Country Kong's here. Good to see the Grady pick is in the house. Good morning, Raptors freaks. Lex, yesterday during the live, I voiced my opinion that I did not love Pascal's response to the questions of selfishness and culture change. Hope he buys into Darko's system. Yeah. You know, at that time I was trying to stay positive, and in some ways I needed to kind of soak in everything that happened about media day and kind of get a bigger picture instead of just reacting a gut reaction to some of the questions where it was kind of dodgy and weird with Siakam. I got that feeling from him too. In some ways, he's the outlier. It feels like it as far as the things that like we got to figure out. I hate this. I know he's in a tough position, but I think he's going to be fine. I really, really do. I'm rooting for him, and I think Masai's rooting for him too. So we just got to have it happen. And he's smart enough and he's skilled enough to make it happen. So we'll have to see. I think he'll buy into it. He's not one of these kind of guys. He understands. What is he going to do? Go against his coach? No, that's not how these basketball guys are trained. They listen to their coach and they do what their coach says. And Darko's going to tell him what he wants him to do, and hopefully he can do it and be very successful at it. And it'll look real good with a lot of big W's coming up for us. That's right. Let's see. Wayne saying 1 through 4 is by committee, confusing these current crops of NBA players who aren't that bright. Yeah, you're talking about NBA fans that aren't that bright. Yeah, 1 through 4 is kind of what I just described as far as any of these guys can bring the ball up. Carlos saying we used to have 1 through 5 interchangeable, but we learned a painful lesson on 5 being so important lesson. Yeah, we can't have Yaka bring the ball up the court. He may have done it at Rico Hines runs a little bit, but it's not a good look. You know, Precious can do it at 5. If we have Precious at center, we can do a 1 through 5, bring the ball up. If Precious is in there, he's okay at doing it. I don't like Chris doing it, though. Chris Boucher should not be bringing the ball up the court, and neither should Thad, if Thad's in those situations either. Cool Cat saying, Lex, Pascal confirmed he actually had sponsorship commitments while he was in Austria for the summer. I totally get that. But that could have been planned on purpose because of knowing his situation. I have no problem with him being away. It's just in some ways, it's a detriment. And the other guys have been getting in there and working with Darko closer. You can tell in the interviews that those other guys have bonded with Darko a lot already, whether it's Gary or OG or Scottie. And I'm a little worried about Siakam. I also think that Jakob has not been around Darko a whole lot either this summer. And that he's going to need similar kind of like with, but I'm not worried about either of those guys. They're going to get with Darko and they're going to figure it out. But yeah, in some ways, the planning of the Red Bull summer there and the obligation of that, well, that's convenient to be away also. Stargate saying it wouldn't surprise me if both Pascal and Masai got together beforehand and contrived their answers just to troll these hockey puck media heads and those weak-minded fans. I'm sure they talked about what's going to be said. It could very well be that Siakam was defensive because of what he heard Masai say before. There is a little bit of reacting to things that were said in interviews from before by people later. And I think that was part of why Siakam was kind of defensive. That's what I'll say. Is he may have heard how Masai came out and said what he said. And I don't know. In some ways, I'm kind of extrapolating. But you know, they definitely talk to each other, and they're definitely in good place with each other. That's not what the issue is here. It's just that Siakam's got a challenge for him this year. That's what you see. Masai's got a challenge for himself for Siakam this year. G saying exactly. If the media spun it as a new beginning, etc., then the fans would have mirrored that more. The media has a lot of influence. Yeah, it's annoying. It's very, very annoying. That's part of why I'm trying to fight this good fight here with you. Is to be a voice of reason and understanding of how they're going to try and manipulate the situation. The media is absolute awful. And it really is from the top, from our own ownership, trying to sabotage our own team. And I hate that. It's Bell and Rogers. Y'all own the team. Why are you doing this? Why are y'all doing this? Seriously. Is this really good for your economics? Did the clicks and the engagement get more than a championship and the winning of that and the economics? Seriously, I'm wondering about y'all. Are y'all really trying to stub your toe on the corner table every single day with your media coming at us like this? Seriously, perfetto. I said Italiano perfetto. Yay! If I did anything right today, I can speak Italian to a perfetto level. Yeah, there you go. Cool Cat saying Toronto Star is the one who's streamed on TikTok. Also, TikTok have more Raptors users than any other social media accounts. Well, maybe some of them are bots. Or yeah, I guess maybe the kids are into TikTok. I don't know. But yeah, maybe they want to keep the old heads away, like me. It's like, I ain't getting on fucking TikTok. Yeah, I'm glad I could watch it through TSN. But yeah, thank you for finding it, Cool Cat, and alerting us yesterday. I know you desperately were trying to spam the website in the chat, but you can't post websites if you're just a regular member. You have to be either an admin or me. And G and Tom and Seymour could do it. And thank you, Tom, for putting it up, or Seymour, whoever did yesterday, finally. But I appreciate your scramble to try and get us in there to watch it. Yeah, it was really, really fun to do that. It was a long stream. I appreciate everybody who kind of stuck with me the whole way. It's crazy. Wayne saying, Lex, not everyone who's on a team is comfortable outside of the competitive space. Listening to Pascal, he's a low-key person who has a certain shyness to him. Give him a break. I'm definitely giving him a break. Wayne, if anything I've said today seems anti-Pascal, it's not. I really, really love him, and I want him to be successful. It's just that it was kind of like a family thing where like something's kind of not working in the family, and the air needs to be cleared. And that is what happened yesterday. Doesn't mean we don't love him and he's not a part of the family anymore. It's just that things got to happen for us to be better this year. And it has to be very clear what the expectations are and that there will be accountability. And listen, I totally agree with you. He impressed me in a lot of ways too. The Siakam we saw yesterday is not the same Siakam who arrived in Toronto years and years ago. That person has grown up and is such an amazing, stronger, mature person than the dude who just showed up, like skinny kid, number 43, who I thought was the next version of Dennis Rodman. I did not think he was the next version of Kawhi Leonard. Instead, I really thought he was just a defensive player and a rebounder. I had no idea his offensive game was going to blossom like it did. So it's amazing where he's come in his time on our team, and I want him to continue to be on our team. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. David's saying, hey, shout out to them for finally getting the audio working. Only took a couple decades. David, that's awesome. You're going to get a dunk just for that. That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I honestly, and a lot of people are excited and happy about the audio thing too. And it is a good improvement. Maybe that's why we had audio, is because TSN handled the audio and Raptors did not. You know, on some of the clips, there was an audio on some of the interviews for the questions. On Jump View, they did not have the audio. Blackhawk saying, moving on up, Lex. Yeah, I mean, I got a good bump. I really, really did. It's crazy. I'm going to continue to get a good bump going into the season because people want to know what's going to happen, what's happening with the Raptors going in the season. Well, this is your spot, your one-stop spot for stuff in a positive, non-toxic way. We really are good fans and we want good things for the Raptors. So if you're like us, this is the place to get your information, because a lot of places you're going to get it through the media's lens, and it may be agenda for like Ted Rogers or something like that. Yeah, I appreciate you, Neil. Cool Cat saying Pascal does whatever coaches want him to do. He has developed to be a complete basketball player, and coaches decide what skills he has they want to use on the court. ISO was Nick's requirement. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. And I'm totally excited to see Pascal under Darko's direction and the difference. I really am. Like in some ways, I'm going to enjoy Siakam's game more without him over isolating, because there'll be more fun little discoveries in the moment. There'll be like stuff that like, oh, wow, I forgot Siakam could do something like that, because so often we just gave him the ball and said, go work. No, let's see him get a cut to the basket and Scottie nails him with that pass. I want to see more of that. That is what we want. That's what Masai wants. That's what Darko wants. That's what we want, is more of these passing and just easy shots for these guys and less laboring to beat the whole other team by himself. That is the biggest difference. This is so much in Siakam's best favor, in his best interest, to have this happen for him. Seriously, if he can be more like Nikola and less like just dominating, I have to have the ball all the time kind of player, he'll be having a better career over the years. Seriously, that's right. And Cool Cat has really good points, and she's exactly right. Pascal's selfish statement is for some media and fans. He made sure he put it out there because it can affect his career. Not everyone follows Raptors closely. It's his global brand. Yeah, and this is what's the article about the Raptors on ESPN this morning. Their one article that they have in the headlines is Masai Ujiri wants Raptors to play right way before talking contract with Siakam. Now they're very fair with this on ESPN. There's just stating the facts. They quote them. They quote both of them what they're saying. And it basically is what we've been saying right now. It's a situation where Ujiri is saying, look, if you want to be here long term, you're going to have to conform to Darko's system. And Siakam saying, he's saying, I think I've always played the game the right way. I don't have an ounce of selfishness in me. I just want to continue to do that. And I feel like I've always done that. I've never really had coaches tell me that I wasn't coachable, that I wasn't listening, or I wasn't doing the right thing on the court. And when I did do that, then every time a coach told me not to do it, I kind of rectified it. See, he's saying he's coachable, he's ready. And the Siakam we had last year is under the direction of Nick Nurse. That's just the pure cut and dry of this. So in some ways, Masai wants to eradicate the Nick Nurse-ness in Siakam for this season. And I think that's smart. I think that's very, very smart. There you go. And Cool Cat's also saying he was the face of Nick Nurse's scheme. So he's making sure he put the record out there who he is fundamentally. Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with this. I totally agree with this. And casuals may think that Siakam is the Nick Nurse that, he's maybe worried about people perceiving. But real ones that have known his whole career, like Cool Cat, myself, Monique, and other people here, we know who you are, Siakam. Don't worry. Don't worry. We know you're going to be successful. Cool Cat saying, what I fear for Scottie is that he will be the next face and he will get the same slander and scrutiny. I just don't want him to get pissed off and then head back to the U.S. It's just part of it. He already gets a lot of scrutiny and this kind of stuff, but he's not letting it be in the paramount in the front. These guys really do get media trained on how to deal with social media so that it doesn't become more bigger than it needs to be in their life. They're not going to listen to casuals. It's like Fred said a couple years ago. It's like, if you don't play this sport professionally, I'm not going to listen to your opinion. I don't give a shit what you have to say because you don't know what you're talking about. And a lot of these guys probably feel that same way. Blackhawks saying waive Thad and bring him back as part of the coaching staff, kick off his second career on the Raptors. I don't think that's a totally bad idea. I don't know. It's going to be weird, this training camp battle, with a Maker now in the mix. It may be because of Koloko's respiratory problems that Maker may have a path to get on this team. And that may mean bad things for Jeff Doughton Jr. and Thad Young. I have no idea how this training camp battle is going to go or the preseason games. We'll get to see, and this is part of the fun for the next couple weeks on this channel, is we're going to overanalyze our Raptors training camp and the preseason games. So you get ready. We're going to start talking about what we're finding out from training camp through the news from the news people, and we'll talk about it. That's really what we're going to be doing for the next few days. I'm going to get more news and notes from training camp and how it's going, and we'll talk about the developments we're hearing about. So that's kind of what's coming up on this channel. Blackhawks saying also when Scottie averages 22 plus points a game, he will be closer to Siakam. Currently, Scottie is on the same level as OG and Gary, which isn't bad. He has room to grow. Yeah. I don't know if he's going to average that much, though. In some ways, it's not like, I don't know. It's a real weird balance. He's going to have to balance between being the playmaker that he loves being and being a selfish guy who's taken over also. We'll see where the quantities go, where the percentages are of which side. In some ways, Scott wants to be the facilitator. He's not totally comfortable being that dominant guy, but he will be, and he wants to be. If he wants to win, he should. And I know he can be dominant and be comfortable doing it, but in some ways, his natural proclivity is to be that team player and pass it around. So we'll see. So G saying when Scottie was drafted, I debated the Suggs fans and compared his draft report to Kawhi's. Kawhi was defense first and the worst shooting wing in his comparable draft. It was his third year. His offense went up. Wow, gee, you know what? This is what happens when you're an intelligent, smart fan that understands the game. Well, you can set casual straight. And in the future, you will be vindicated and proven right. And I completely agree with everything you said in your comment. And you were saying the right thing to those Suggs people at that time. The fact that people got upset about us drafting Scottie over Suggs was hilarious. And every single person that was liking Suggs more than Scottie, you're idiots. And you continue to be more and more idiots as time goes on. Yeah, there you go. G saying Scottie has passing and playmaking already ahead of the game too. He's a way better passer than Kawhi in some ways. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. This season is going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. I hope it's very successful and we win a lot. Wayne saying the truth about Pascal not making that comment is scary because there was no pushback. So wait, let me try and suss out what you're saying. The truth about Pascal not making that comment was scary because there was no pushback. Well, this is the thing. The Raptors MO and their way of dealing with rumors and the media buzz and all the bullshit out there is to not even comment on it. They don't try and rectify it. They don't try and correct it. They just let it stay out there and kind of float around. So Raptors fans, y'all need to realize that if it doesn't have a direct source from a Raptor mouth or a person involved in the organization, you should not listen to it. There's so much bullshit out there that is absolutely not true. And this is an example of it. The reason that they didn't push back against it or say anything about it is because if they did that all the time, they'd be tirelessly going around and doing it constantly. And once you start doing that, then you got to keep doing it and keep doing it. And it's just a waste of time because there's so much of it. They mushroom overnight. So I understand their policy of not trying to like correct rumors publicly, because in some ways you give power to the rumor when you acknowledge it. And in some ways they're just like, really, the learned Raptor fan needs to realize nothing in the media you can take for real. The only people you should listen to are people that are reporting things that have already happened and concretely happened. Or if you're listening to rumor stuff, you better just be listening to Woj at this point. Don't listen to anybody else, either Woj or some of these Toronto Raptor guys that are close, like Grange, Lewinberg, Samson Folk. You can listen to them, but nobody else. If it's like Mark Stein, who has a rumor about OG's extension, this is a good example. We talked about it earlier. There's a Mark Stein rumor that OG is not going to do this. Well, what happens if we do sign OG to an extension in a couple of days? That proves that Mark Stein was full of shit. So I'm not going to listen to Mark Stein with his thing. I'm just going to go ahead and just I'm going to figure that the Raptors are trying to talk to OG about an extension. If nothing happens, they just haven't successfully lined it up. And I'm not going to assume any more than that. And that's the problem. There's a lot of fans assuming more than in filling in the blanks that is just not true. And it's not real. So really, really think about where you're getting information, whether you can trust it, and use critical thought. Like Mark Stein is usually reputable, and it could be true what he said, but I'm not going to take it as truth because it's a rumor still. It's still a rumor. And there you go. There you go. Cool Cat saying, we have to be aware that NBA teams want our best players. Manipulation is the name of the game. Pascal understands the business of basketball. He is still mentored by Kyle DeMar and has an agent. That's exactly right. All of that's true. Fiercely saying, great conversation, fam. Got to go and take care. All right, Fiercely, all the best to you. Trivia leader and one of our fantasy managers, Fiercely Salsera. Dana's saying, have a good day, Fiercely. And Cool Cat saying, we also have to understand Masai is human too. He is more than his job. We don't know what else Masai is doing personally. Yeah. I mean, in some ways, they asked him if this is stressful and hard on him. He's like, I'm the same person I would be if I was just at my house in Africa and I didn't do this job. He's trying to make it seem like, look, there's no pressure on him and you guys are not getting to him. And I'm glad. And I know it's probably true to an extent that a lot of the pressure that is perceived by fans in the media is not actually real. That's what he said. Everybody's been great to me. I love being here. Let's not bring up Ted Rogers and his comment, but everybody's been great. Management and ownership is very supportive towards me, is what Masai said yesterday. Trevor's saying, NBA Chef says yesterday that Masai broke the record for Media Day. How did he break the record, Trevor J? Elaborate. Without me having to go listen to Chev exactly. Infamous saying, I think Masai is frustrated with the Dame situation combined with media narrative. It's hard to sit in a room full of vultures. Yeah, I don't even call them vultures. They're kind of like they're weird, annoying little pecking birds. They're not as powerful as vultures. They're not as powerful as that. In some ways, they're a joke. There's vultures in New York in the press room, probably. Yeah, vultures in Philadelphia, but not ours. They're softies. Maybe they're like chicken hawks. Chicken hawks? I don't know. They're not vultures. I guess they're kind of the same, chicken hawks and vultures. I don't know. Wayne's saying, Masai's under pressure, no doubt. Dumb questions and not being able to say, you dumb fuckers, fuck off. I wish he could say that to them. It'd be hilarious if he could just say, fuck Brooklyn to them. That would be awesome. Cool Cat saying, to be fair, the team was built around Fred's skills, not Pascal skills. It's just that Pascal kept surprising everyone with his improvements year after year thus far. Yeah. Yes. In some ways, Fred demanded a certain kind of system to be played because that's the only kind of system he can play in. He's not a good full court player. He's a half court player. And in some ways, we had a very bad half court team. Well, Darko's going to fix the half court stuff, and Fred's gone. So we don't have to cater to helping Fred be the way he has to be. In fact, I'm wondering about how MA is going to do it with Houston down there. Catering to Fred and making him the effective player he is. Well, you got to kind of babysit him in some ways, like Nick did, to get the most effective stuff out of Fred, like Nick was. So yeah, in some ways, there's some fallacy to Fred being the player that he is. He was propped up by Nick. Wayne's saying, honestly, don't help. Honesty doesn't help in all situations, Lex. When the alligators are in the water, you got to learn not to be food. Well, in some ways, in the end, honesty will win, even if you lose, no matter what. And in some ways, if you live an honest life and you live in an honest way, then you shouldn't worry about things because it should work out for you. Now, I get it. Honesty can get you in trouble for sure. I know. I've been a very honest person in my life and it has messed me up at times. I get it. But this is calculated honesty. And in some ways, I think it was pretty smart. Some of the things that Masai did yesterday, being very honest about what he expects is very smart for this year. It's smart because a lot of fans have turned around and like, okay, I like what Masai said, and they're laying off of him. In some ways, some of the heat on Masai got lessened because Masai is saying we're going to hold people accountable, and if you don't see these changes, and that's what they want to hear. The fans that are upset want to hear that we're fixing things, and Masai made it very clear that he's being on top of it. So a lot of the people that were after Masai like 3 days ago are not after him right now because he said enough things that made them happy, and I think that's good, and that's in being honest. Mo's saying, hit the like and subscribe button. Best Raptor Free family crew. You go, Monique. Thank you. My first write-up is live from yesterday, y'all. Yeah, go check out Monique's write-up about Media Day. Always great observations and opinions from Mo. And it will enrich and fulfill your perception and your perspective on things, hearing what Mo's got to say. Dana's saying, NBA Chef doesn't want to do collabs with anyone right now. No problem with that. In some ways, I don't mind doing collabs, but in some ways, I want to do them on their territory. Some people have wanted to come on this show. Well, if you want to come on the show, you better come and sit right next to me like Nacho the Nacho, because I don't really know how to do like the boxes and have interviews and do long overways and stuff like that. I'm not technical. And in some ways, I could figure out all that stuff and have regular guests on all the time. It may be fun to have y'all on as guests in the box with me. But in some ways, that's way out of my technical realm of knowledge. And it may not be worth it. In some ways, I don't mind doing collabs, though. But it's really kind of like show up here and sit next to me like Tommy Duke or Nacho the Nacho that one morning, too. Yeah. Let's see. No, Emo Jimmy. Emo Jimmy is hilarious. Cowboys saying, later, Lex and the Raptor Freaks, everyone have a blessed day and be safe. It's a beautiful day. You go, Tada. Y'all, if you need help around your house, odd job's done. The brothers Tada can come to your house. Look them up on social media, Tada Services. They will do anything to help you at your house. Trust me, they do anything. It's kind of crazy. You ask some crazy ass thing, Bradley might say yes. Yes, he might say yes. Now, within reason and legality. Let's just put it that way. Stargate saying, oh, thanks, Wayne. Laugh out loud. I say put Pascal at the 2, OG at the 3, Scottie at the 4, of course, and Jakob at the 5, and Dennis at the 1, and have the bench Gary, Precious, McDaniels, Grady, and Koloko, and whoever wins out the point guard spot at training camp. Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, you'll have 11 guys there, but I mean, doesn't sound like a bad idea, Stargate. That's kind of how I'm seeing how things will be. I think that your bench guys are important, although you need to be put Boucher in that list. Chris Boucher needs to be on that list too. That's going to be the thing. There's going to be some competition for bench time in the rotation, and it may not be the same guys every night. It could very well be Koloko and Grady come in like every 2 or 3 games, and Boucher and Precious and Gary are getting in every game. McDaniels, I don't know. It could be every other game or something like that. Monique is saying Kyle Lowry back working with Remax Canada. Did you see it on IG's page? No, I did not. Kyle still very much does business here in Canada, all kinds of different things. He's still a very good spokesperson for Canadian companies. So he is still working up here on this side of the border, even though he's in the Miami Heat. Stargate saying exactly, Masai is just trying to exercise the Nick Nurse demons out of this team ASAP. Yeah, all remnants gone. You realize how many times they mentioned Nick Nurse yesterday? Not once. Not once. You did not hear anyone say Nick Nurse's name. You just heard them say Fred's name and saying goodbye to Fred, but they did not mention Nick once yesterday. They didn't have to. We're past him, is what's going on. Cool Cat saying, I just saw a clip where OG practices with Dame during summers. He texted Dame, "Welcome to Toronto," and Dame freaked out. Proof that we didn't have a chance to get Dame. That's what I'm saying. Dame had decided he'd want to be here. I can tell he's one of these American guys that are like that. And I'm sure the way we treated DeMar just was a cherry on top. Yeah, Trevor J saying the most watch. Thank you. And Stargate saying the moment Jalen Green feels he isn't getting the ball enough. Yeah, that's going to be a problem in Houston. Jalen Green may be one of the people that has an issue. There's a lot of mouths to feed on that team, a lot of young, hungry mouths that are going to want that ball. Well, is Fred going to hog it? Is there going to be a Rockets Pensair that's complaining that Jalen Green is not getting more shots and Fred's hogging the ball from him? That very well could be somebody that does that. There very well could be. Maybe one of us are Raptor guys. I don't know. We don't want to mess with Fred like that. But a division opponent of the Rockets that doesn't like them very much, they can make up a false account like Pensair Basketball and start going after Fred just like Robert did last year. And they may be very successful. Very successful. Let's see. Kareem saying W stream Lex. Thanks, Kareem. And I saw your comment on Twitter this week saying that I had the best Raptors content in around. I really appreciate that. That means a lot that you wrote that on there, Kareem, putting me on blast on Twitter and posting my stream the other day. That really meant a lot to me right here, bro. Monique saying W stream Lex all around. Keep at it always. Let the good times roll. Raptors for life. That's right. 2.5 hours. Just at that. We did the Raptors Instagram check. The Media Day pictures are fun. We see all those guys at Media Day. It's awesome. Yeah, just good stuff happening. Y'all stay positive. We're in a good place. In some ways, there was a little bit of a rain cloud over Media Day yesterday. But in some ways, it's just clearing out the badness. In some ways, you need the rain to wash off the dirt, to clean things up and make them new again. And I feel like that's what's happening right now. There's a little bit of raining on our parade, but that's really just raining the last specks of dirt from Nick Nurse's isolation system. And we're going to make sure we wash it off completely. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Shemaine Grant is here. Did Dennis speak at Media Day? I didn't see anything with him talking. No, we didn't actually see a clip of Dennis in the interview, but there is a leaked picture that got out for very quick, but then it was taken down immediately because Dennis revealed our City Edition jersey in his picture. They had him wearing a gold jersey that was a Welcome Toronto jersey, but it was almost all gold with very little black trim. So our City Edition jersey has been revealed by accident by Dennis Schroeder on his Instagram account, and the Raptors made him take it down immediately. So if you want to see that jersey, go follow Monique Lawrence on Instagram. It's in her stories right now. She caught a picture of it, and she has it up still. So if you want to see the new City Edition jersey, it's at Monique's Instagram. But no, I don't know if they did an actual interview with him. He said in the captions, shortest media day ever. He basically ran into the arena, put the gold jersey on, took a couple pictures for Media Day, and then jumped on another plane and went straight to Vancouver. It could very well be he did make the team plane with the rest of the team and was able to fly over there with them. So, yeah, no interview, Shemaine, but a picture of him was leaked also. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. Tomorrow we'll do a Wow Wednesday. Hopefully I'll be wowing about some of the great news coming from training camp and the developments of what's happening with these guys. So all the best. I appreciate all y'all. Stay positive. Seriously. If there was one main point I have today is realize you got to take care of yourself to have a good world to live in. If you don't take care of yourself, it taints every single thing in your world, the way you look at it. If your body is chemically not right because you're not giving it the nutrients and vitamins and nourishment and rest that you need, it will taint your perception and your opinions and how you feel about the world. If you feel like you got something up your ass, you're going to be more cantankerous and negative. That's what I'm saying. So Raptors fans, if you feel like you're a negative person, make lifestyle changes. How about that? We're going to try and go to the source of your angst and weirdness, Raptors Nation. And I'm going to tell y'all to go take a shower. I'm going to tell y'all to go eat a steak or some meal that nourishes you. I'm going to tell you to fucking stop doing drugs or over drinking too much. Because if you're hungover all the time, you are definitely probably in a bad mood most of the time. So yeah, there you go. There you go. Shemaine saying, you're awesome. I love your content. Thank you, Shemaine. That's a great endorsement, and I appreciate you. And I'll be back tomorrow. Every single day, we're here We will always be talking Raptors. We are not going anywhere. That's right. Stargate saying Derek White cut his hair. Yeah, there's a couple people that shaved their heads. Chris Middleton has got the bald look now. And yeah, Derek White has no hair at all right now either. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. All the best to y'all. Be Raptors the right way, positive way, and believe in your team. Believe in Siakam, that he will conform to Darko's system, and we will go forward with our great Cameroonian All-NBA player that we love. All right, y'all. I appreciate you, Masai, for your honesty and very frankness. In some ways, you put the fire out a bit with some of your critics because you actually came and said some stuff about accountability and getting this team in the right direction. I appreciate that. Y'all, I love y'all once again. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And as always, you know what I'm going to say. And I really mean it right now because this training camp is starting today. Let's go Raptors. Put in that work. Get together. Get as a team. Listen to Darko and become successful once again this season. We are rooting for you with the deepest of our hearts and our minds of being happy and perceptive of positive things for this team instead of looking at all the negatives and the bad stuff. You look at that stuff, your life is shit. So you want to make that change and that choice. You want to be a glasses half full or a glasses half empty person. We want to be a glasses half full people. All right, let's go Raptors. That's right, baby. Let's go.